race fans, you can hear my voice in the pit area. Please come on back to the grandstands. We're just a few moments away from opening ceremonies. Pro division's ready to come out on the track with Pro Stock UTV, followed by Pro Modified UTV, going to Pro Light, Pro 2, and finally Pro 4. So you can hear my voice back in the pit area, Manufacturers Speedway. Come on back to the grandstands. We get underway with the opening ceremony. Well, Chicagoland race fans, we're just a few moments away from
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, returns to the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois for round number 2 of Down in the Dirt Mayhem. Redemption for some, retribution for others, and maybe a chance for repeat glory. 3 flavors of fire, Pro Light, Pro 2-wheel drive, and Pro 4-wheel drive are straining for release, with the best drivers on dirt ready to unleash the beast on this fabled short course dirt track. In the opening round of the 2017 season, the Pro Lights came out swinging, but it was Casey Curry and his West Coast swagger that took the checkers. The Pro 2-wheel drive had fierce competition down to the wire, resulting in a penalty and Eric Ruppel claiming top of the box. The Greaves, father and son, battled once again on the Pro 4-wheel drive stage, with CJ taking the first round of the season. Although some might argue top honors of round 1 go to the Joker lane, claiming victims and creating general chaos. The dust has been shaken off on the new season. High speed and high octane earth-clawing action is on the menu as we get set for round number 2 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. It's the Chicagoland Slam. What a beautiful day to see the best in short course off-road racing here in Joliet, Illinois. The sun is out, the breeze is blowing, and we kick off TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Round number 2, it's the Chicagoland Slam. Hi everyone, welcome to the Dirt Oval at Route 66. I'm Robbie Floyd, joined by Supercross and Motocross champion Grant Langston, and round number 1 did not disappoint, GL. I mean, they had that Joker lane to deal with, and the guys, they had a lot of decisions to make.
Well, I think a lot of the drivers had in their mind when they were going to take it before the race started. But we really saw during the race, guys had to make split decisions. We saw leaders going left, they went right. So they were doing the opposite. It worked for some, but it did backfire on a few guys. We'll see what happens in round 2.
Yeah, when they went right, the other guy goes left. So a lot of decisions, and boy, a lot of contact in the Pro 2-wheel drive, and some fresh faces. Peterson, Dorr, Eric Ruppel taking the win after a penalty with contact. Brad Lovell and Luke Johnson getting into it. But some fresh faces, some veterans, and it didn't disappoint. Pro 2-wheel drive was pretty aggressive.
It was awesome to watch. I actually expected this from these guys, and the veterans, like you said, Lovell and Johnson went at it hard. A little bit of a penalty, hard racing at round 1. Is it going to carry over into round 2? I think so.
I don't know. You talked about that penalty, the contact with Brad Lovell, and the third member of our broadcast team, Kate Osborne, has caught up with him.
One racer who definitely had a good start to round 1, quickest in practice, also in qualifying, but the one lap that counted, Brad, that final lap, it just didn't work out for you. What was your takeaway from round 1?
Well, you know, it feels really good that we have a fast truck. The whole team's been working hard on it. In that last lap, you know, Luke was closing in on me, and he was racing me hard. I raced him hard going into that line, and I think it's a situation where somebody's going to have hurt feelings coming out of it, either he or I, and unfortunately, I'm the one with the hurt feelers. But I certainly have no frustration with Luke. You know, great racer, and we're out there battling. A little frustration with the series as far as rules being applied, but you know, it is what it is. And last night we got everything patched up here from all the damage from the black flag incident. We got our tape on there holding the fender together. Damage doesn't look too bad to me, and we're looking at moving forward. We're fast again today, so it's going to be a great race.
Well, the good news for Brad Lovell is he knows that he has a quick truck, and it's one to beat.
And a great night of racing here in Joliet, Illinois. We'll see Pro UTVs, Pro 2s, Pro 4s, Pro Lights. I mean, if it's anything like round 1, round 2 is going to be exciting. Brad Lovell with the hurt feelers yesterday. I'm sure somebody's going to have some hurt feelers today. Before we get to the racing, I want to send it down to the public address announcer, the voice of off-road, Mr. Scott Rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Welcome to round 2 of the 2017 TORC Off-Road Championship Series. This time, will everyone please rise? Gentlemen, move your hats. Today's presentation of colors, Master Sergeant Jake W. Steen and the Lincoln Way East High School.
Present colors.
At this time, can we now introduce to you our chaplain for today's opening ceremonies and our invocation, William Beagle.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you that we live in the United States of America. We thank you that this is the land of the free, the home of the brave, because of those brave people. Bless them, keep them safe. Bless this race today. Bless the participants, those who put it on. And God, we ask that we would bless you as you bless America. And everybody said, Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing as we're about to hear the greatest song in the world, once again about the greatest country in the world, our very own United States, and our very own national anthem. This afternoon being sung by Melissa Casey and Kristen Pfluger.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, race fans, that's how you started an afternoon of racing with the national anthem and fireworks. But now, one thing remains. It was earlier that the TORC Facebook Mother's Day contest was had, and we've got a winner. We want to congratulate and welcome once again all the mothers here on Mother's Day weekend. But now, for the most famous words in motorsports, our contest winner, Mary Narrison.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
What a great kickoff. It is Mother's Day. Happy birthday to my mother out there, Diane Floyd, and all the mothers that are in attendance and watching online at TORCseries.com. We welcome you as we prepare for our first race of the afternoon for the Pro Stock UTVs. Yesterday, the race was won, or last round, the race was won by C.J. Greaves. We'd like to welcome everyone inside our booth here at Chicagoland Speedway, the dirt track oval, or at the oval at Route 66. I'm Robbie Floyd, Grant Langston, and GL. It's about 72 degrees out there. In our booth here, it's about 94, but things are going to get hotter out there on the track because every single class at the last round was exceptional.
Oh, absolutely. It's been phenomenal racing that we've seen from round one. And this track really lends itself to that tight niche, I'd say bar banging, but you know, with the cars, door-to-door racing, a lot of contact, very tight. Also a little difficult to pass, so sometimes with a little frustration you see guys doing what we call a little bump and run. And we saw a few guys get in trouble, and I got a feeling we're going to see more of that today.
In the first race as well, you and I talked to Travis Pointer earlier, and he was talking about how slippery it was, and we saw him spin around. The first couple of laps in each one of the races, it will be as wet as it will be the rest of their race, because they do prep in between each and every class, but it's just something you have to prepare for. That's why they give you that sight lap.
Well, the way this track is, and even with chatting with some of the drivers, is the track changes quite a bit throughout the race. You see right now it goes from wet, slick, and then by the end, and especially when in the races where we saw a lot of cautions or delays, the track changed immensely. So the drivers had to change their driving style, their line selection, and I think the drivers that can do that today are going to be the ones that come on top. This is not a all-out, balls-out type racetrack. This is a very technical, pick your line, be smart, close the door when you need to, but sweep the line, open it up when you can. If you've got no one behind you, sweep the track.
I mentioned that the race yesterday was won. I can call it yesterday on our TORCseries.com fans, but the race yesterday won by C.J. Greaves. Didn't start off too well for him because at qualifying, thought there was a problem with the motor. They made a switch, had to start in the back of the field, but he passed everyone to win that race. And I think he's got that vehicle just so dialed in. It has not lost a race that I've seen.
Yeah, well, truthfully, I actually would love to see TORC just put him at the back of the field just because
Right.
He's that good, and it was incredible watching him come through the pack and experience, and like you said, that vehicle of his is dialed in, and I think these guys are going to be a little nervous when you look at the the way they line up.
You find your favorite driver on the bottom of your screen there on that front row. CJ Greaves, Kenny Mash, Will Dixon, Brian Waugh, Zach Martin, Luberg. Looks like Dylan Poynton, as well as Lohman back there on the 4th row. But find your drivers. We also have that joker lane that these guys deal with throughout the night. We'll talk more about that. But CJ Greaves, he's on that blue and white Yamaha on the left. He's got the inside pole position. On the outside will be Kenny Mash. Let's see if he can mash that pedal and try and cut CJ off. And no, CJ at the start gets the green flag and already has a full UTV lead.
Yeah, great start. You can tell he's done this a time or two before. You saw the 2 little white flags up the side. Oh! And that turn we see really upsetting these vehicles over the last, previous round. And now with that moisture, these guys will be able to flick it sideways. The track has been groomed. No major ruts yet.
Yep.
Say yet, because it will rut out pretty hardcore.
And that is a big turning point, that big sweeping left-hander, what would typically be in an oval track, turn 1 and turn 2. But it's fine if it's smooth wine, sweeping around, but when you put kickers in it, I mean, that upsets the attitude. I don't care what vehicle you're in.
Yeah, basically all the weight is going to the outside, and then when they hit that, it bottoms, and then when it rebounds, it deflects, which basically means it wants to shoot you the other way and put you right in the wall. 1 lap down, no surprise, CJ out in front.
In case you were wondering, it is right, lap 2 of 14. Round 1, we had 16 and 18 laps respectively between the UTVs and the trucks, but each class 2 less laps, and we're seeing a good race. Our top 4 right now: Greaves, Mash, Dixon, Martin, and Luberg. Looks like I want to go fast is what the 901 has to say on there, and that is Dixon trying to get in there.
Martin trying to get around him. A little carnage in the background there. Someone off track. Already, look how much of that mud they've flung off the inside lines already. So look at that. That was wet when they started, and you're already seeing a bit of that dust coming through.
Oh, oversteer just got out a little bit. Actually, that was an over and under move.
I thought that was going to be catastrophic right there.
Both of those drivers in that one turn could not turn left quick enough. Oh, man. The 918 out in front of Martin there. He shot across the long way, and then just behind him was Luberg. He couldn't turn underneath. And luckily, they were able to negotiate the over and under, and no problems between the two. Actually, it's Dixon and Martin. And Dixon just behind Martin there, you see.
But now Martin leaves the door open. It looks like, has he had the deal sealed right there? Not quite yet. So Dixon still holds on to that podium position, but up the inside with a great drive. Martin now looking to the inside. He's got the premier line going in turn 1.
Will Dixon on that outside. Now watch for him when he does that. She should square it up maybe and go to the inside, but that's not the case. He's just trying to keep more throttle around that outside, but the more you take, the farther line around, the longer distance, and you've really got to have a smoother line to make that outside line work.
Well, you can see the drivers experimenting, but especially in these UTVs where they don't have, 800-900 horsepower, momentum is key. The minute you stop these things, it's really hard to get that momentum going. That one right-hander there for these guys is one of the turns where I feel like they come in, keep it tight, and point and squirt it. But most of these left-handers, they're trying to basically arc it as best as they can, going inside, outside, experimenting right now. Where's the most traction? We see a caution.
Our first caution of the day with 4 laps complete in this one. Somebody's on their lid. Looks like the 968.
I'm glad you could read that upside down.
Yeah, that's Brian Waugh, and he was starting in 4th. Waugh that last time around. There's 2 Waughs in there, but
I wonder what was happened.
Was happening. He's heard that 1,000 times.
Was
don't know what's up with him.
He wants to be was up. He's was down right now.
Was Brian. Yeah, that definitely was Brian. Definitely was Brian.
At least they got him over. Doesn't look like... there he fires it up. You see it pukes out a little oil, and that's just because when it's upside down, you get some of that oil coming through the cylinders and burns it off. Hopefully it didn't do any engine damage.
Yeah, whenever you see that smoke like that, a little oil in the cylinders.
It could be okay, and it could not be okay. There's a fine line.
Oh, that's funny.
It's probably going to break eventually.
Hey, do you notice anything about 1, 2, 3, and 4 there? Just
one, 2, and 3 all look the same.
Actually, the start as well. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all Yamahas, and they're led by our Yamaha Pace vehicle, and that has been the case. A majority of these machines are Yamahas. I know Jason Luberg in the Polaris, but I mean, stock-wise, Yamaha has sold a lot of YXZs 1000s, and the more you see this, I think they're going to be selling even more. You own a dealership, Langston Motorsports in California. You've seen it yourself.
Yeah, we have. I mean, I know Polaris has been kind of the leader in UTVs for so many years, but man, you got to give it to Yamaha. They've stepped it up. They came out with a great machine. It's basically, you can go and buy it on the showroom floor and pretty much race it, because these things are, man, they're fast straight out of the box.
A little different approach, and we'll see in the modified, and there's one of the bikeman vehicles there. You see Polaris and Can-Am there as well, but I mean, this stock class itself is dominated by Yamahas. They're so good, even our Pace UTV is a Yamaha. I like to thank them. Dave Derringer with Yamaha, we got to talk to him earlier today, my buddy.
Old friend of ours. All right, now they're going to be skipping out the inner loop, which means they're going to bunch up and they're going to come back to.
And watch the flags
green.
On the inside. We'll point them out to the left as we go away. You'll see it looks like downhill ski flags for snowboarders. You see them right there on the left? That's the initiation zone when they can actually get on the throttle. The leader sets the pace, and the leader CJ. Green means go back on the throttle.
Some guys, somebody needs a compass.
Because somebody stopped way back there. So they might be able to tow him off, but they better hurry, because if these guys take, they can't take the Joker lane, not this lap at least. So they might try and tow him off and get him out of harm's way.
You see what CJ did there, which he's so good at? Every time I watch him on a restart, he either waits, and then almost brake checks him, and then right at the end of the acceleration zone, he takes off. And then the very next time, he'll act like he's going to do the same thing and then just punch it earlier. So he continuously has people guessing what he's going to do, and they can't do much more than try and get right up behind him.
I want to point out also, you cannot brake check someone in that acceleration zone legally. But you can
drag the brakes.
But you can't go up there and haul booty, grab brake, and then get back on the gas again, and it be legal. You can actually be docked for that. But you can go slow as you want to, and then get on the throttle.
CJ already just stretching it out again, but
we will have the competition caution after the 7th lap, though, too. So 2 laps from now, we know no matter how big the distance is between them now, we know they'll start nose to tail here in just a couple more laps.
But as we look right now, Kenny Marsh, he and Martin have just been going at it.
Just like last week.
I was going to say, just like round 1, they were nose to tail pretty much the whole race. And the only real difference was CJ had to come from behind to win. Today he's been out front. I mean, even his Yamaha UTV just looks nice, clean, shiny.
It's always good when you can be out in front and the crew doesn't have to clean much. And the Blue Crew support vehicle was Power Sports 1, Rodney Van Epperen, who you'll see in the modified class in a minute, doing all the dealer support for the Yamaha drivers here. 9:47, you see him in your picture. He finished 2nd. Kenny Mash on the Yamaha in 3rd. Zach Martin out of Cochran, Georgia, the SOB built Motorsports, Jersey Mike Subs, Victory Lane Auto Sales, his sponsors.
Jersey Mike's, man, love these sandwiches.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Jason Luberg in 4th out of Zanesville, Ohio, that Bikeman Performance Crash Addict Polaris. And yeah, the Bikeman crew, they were working a lot today. I mean, they're wanting to come back and have better results than they had yesterday for sure, because I mean, they are the most dominant factory type team that's here this weekend.
Oh yeah, oh look at this, battle for 2nd. Zach Martin tried to, he had a look there on Marsh, but just couldn't quite get it done, and that's part of the track. You don't want to do a slide job and make contact, because that could have ended badly for both of them. So Martin wisely just backed out of it right at the end.
Yeah, but I think Mash really wanted to get in 2nd at that restart, don't you? That way CJ pulls off and he can do the opposite. Not have to worry about being in 3rd.
Exactly. Get it out of the way and have a clear shot at the leader as they come to that competition caution.
6 laps have been completed. Now make it 7 as CJ Greaves comes across. Greaves with an advantage over 2nd by 3.39 seconds over Mash. Martin in 3rd. Luberg 7 seconds behind Greaves, followed by Dixon. pointing some 8 seconds behind as well. And was not Brian, but his brother
Scott.
just behind. Scott was up there inside that top 10. Let's go to Kate Osborne. What do you have, Kate?
Well, we have UTVs, we have trucks, and we have 2 commentators who know a whole lot about racing. We want to hear from you. We want your questions to be sent into us via social media. Just hashtag Chicago Slam. Make sure you find us on TORCseries.com to get all of our right handles. But hashtag Chicago Slam, send us your questions because our commentators want to answer that. On top of that, these drivers are guys that you can get really up close and personal to. They want to answer your questions and get to know you as well. So if you send them to me as well, hopefully we'll get some of your questions answered and put on the telecast. On top of that, I have my very own question for Grant and Robbie. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Hit us.
Okay, so we have some great classes here. We have the UTVs, obviously we have the pro trucks here. Which class would you guys want to run in?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I would like to be in the slowest class because if you ever saw me race a dirt track oval in a car.
Less injuries?
Yeah. Back when I raced modifieds, it was not pretty. When I go from motocross to a car and you give me a roll cage. So for everybody's sake, pro lights would be best for me and for every competitor out there because that roll cage just gives you that sense of security, as you know oh too well, Grant, that you don't have.
I would say Pro 2 for me just because of the fact I like to get slideways.
Okay, slideways. That's a good job. All right, Kate. Let's go back to the Pro UTV stock class as they line up once again. You said Pro 2, right?
Yep.
Pro 2 for you, Pro Light for me. I'd like to try these. My back is killing me, but as soon as it's not, I want to see this. I want to see this the next time. As soon as I get healthy, I want to hop in CJ's ride. Here we go. See, there's those that initiation zone where they can start. CJ going slower this time. Now he's going to do it on the back end.
Keeps them guessing every time, but what a great start from Marsh. He was right there. I mean, he was almost, they were connected.
On the throttle, and I was also wondering about Kate if she was asking us these questions. She said 2 knowledgeable announcers. If she was talking about Brent Smith and Scott Rain up there in the booth, the public address announcer, and look at it, CJ taking that outside line, and that is a shorter route. We'll have to look at the times today and see what the difference is between the joker lane and without the joker lane. You can only initiate the joker lane on the second half after that competition caution.
And you know what, CJ did what he had to do. If you're leading, you've got to take it first. Keep yourself out front. If he didn't take it, other guys would have taken it. Then he might have been dealing with some traffic later in the race. Got that out of the way. Looks like a host of drivers did take it as well. So now you almost have 2 battles. You've got, the front at the moment looks like 7 have taken the joker, whereas the back half of the pack have not. So all of a sudden, near the end of the race, you'll see things start really getting shaken up as those guys take the joker lane. It's kind of exciting.
I'm hoping that I see on my timing and scoring the lap time of CJ this time around. I have a differential, but I don't have the actual lap time of CJ Greaves and I don't think it's just going to happen.
Well, I want to keep an eye on Kenny Marsh because he didn't take it, and he was way back. No, he did take it this lap, so right back into the mix. And would you know, battling with Martin. These 2 are like peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, will we see a sandwich? That's the question. If we get both of these guys on either side of CJ. CJ's has things dialed in pretty well.
But this time around, he hasn't pulled away like he has, early in the race or just had that outright speed. It looks like the guys are either picking it up or the track's coming to them in the setup because you can tell it's getting dry.
Let's go to Kate about Yamaha.
You guys are talking about these Yamahas, and obviously CJ has it dialed in, but I was talking to Kyle Hart, who drives some Polaris and mods, and he was saying actually these Yamahas and stock work really well with the rules of stock. That height you can lower and that torque that they have, really how hard you can drive them, it really helps. That height though really does play a big part in why these Yamahas are successful in stock.
It's a good point there, Kate. And basically comes back to straight off the sheriff. Oh, and CJ there, a mini bicycle got up on 2 wheels. So you can tell those berms and ruts are starting to form. So what happens is these guys they're basically trying to go through the turns as fast as possible, as you can imagine. So they put all the weight to the outside. But when they hit that cush, sometimes it gets enough traction. You'll see the inside wheels come up because they're not actually able to continue their slide. It gets a little too much traction mid-corner, but this has got to be the battle. Martin and Marsh These two have just been going at it. Round one looked like a carbon copy of what we're seeing right now.
So it looks like a 20-second difference between the joker and the non-joker. So for those guys that are wondering about in this particular race, it's probably the biggest joker lap differential that I've seen, but that's what we're looking at. Just in case you're wondering, I know I was trying to get you that information earlier.
Oh, a little bit wide there, but great exit. So Marsh will carry that momentum and see if he can close that little gap back up. Wow, look at this. You don't want to make a mistake because there's a freight train coming behind these guys. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, all right together. And there's just enough time.
Where's CJ?
Yeah.
Where's CJ?
He's almost 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, so. I mean, he's not even in that picture. He's out in front, and he's got his own races pretty much like round number one, and it's just like round 2 and 1 in this race between Martin and Mash. Yesterday, at the last round, they finished in opposite positions. It was Mash was second.
Oof.
Martin in third. Oh, a good run, though. Look at this.
He got a little sideways there, a little huckabuck.
Look at Mash, though. I'm telling you, he got shot to that outside that time, and it actually helped him.
He's going wherever Martin does it, and that's kind of what you have to do at this point. You can see how much the track has dried out. It started wet slick, now dry slick. CJ Greaves, white flag, 1 lap to go. Barring any mechanical, you know he's got this one in the bag, but the battle behind continues.
And Poynton closing in fourth. You see him. If these guys get into each other, he might work his way onto the podium. There he is, the 947 Mash. He's closing in, taking that lower line. It's a shorter distance. It also sets him up into a left-hand turn. If he can get one wheel even, if he gets halfway, you just run it in deeper here, Grant. You know we're going to see contact. Got it.
Oh, wow. That was a straight-up block pass.
And there goes Poynton. I told you, Poynton points it into third, and now he's going to take over position.
Will he? Because at the moment, it looks like...
Shut him down. Shut him up. He can't.
Get your nose in there. You got to get your nose in there. Oh, what?
Perfect. The short wheelbase, it's easier to roll these things over. Coming across to take the checker flag looks to be that Yamaha checker flag, and the Yamaha CJ Greaves, number 933. And 5 seconds behind them, taking second place, moving up that last lap, the 947 of Kenny Mash. Third will be Dylan Poynton, the 929, and fourth, unofficially, Zach Martin, not able to make that podium. What a race. In Pro Stock UTV, we'll talk to our top 3 when we return to Joliet, Illinois.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty, and what you need. The tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Welcome back to the Dirt Oval at Route 66 in Joliet, Illinois. Stop number 2 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. Robbie Floyd, Grant Langston, Kate Osborne down track side and up there podium side, pit side throughout the day. And speaking of that, let's send it down to Kate Osborne, who's with the winner once again, CJ Greaves.
Woo! Another winner to the belt for CJ Greaves here. Gotta ask you, you made that look super effortless, but I'm sure there's places you can improve. Where are they?
You know, we just put a lot of testing into these things. We were running all off season on the snow, the ice, on the trails, anywhere we could, we were running these things. So we just keep working at the setup and getting it a little bit better every time. So I think it really just comes down to momentum and how well you can get your car to stick to the track. So I really just can't thank all these guys from Yamaha Racing, Monster Energy, Maxxis Tires, Fox Shocks, Blue Crew, Luke from Beyond Redline and his boys put a killer tune in these things. Top 2 have his airbox and flash. Graves Exhaust, Rugged radios, we had a little mishap with radios. They got us some radios here for the weekend, and they work flawless. So I really appreciate all the help we got. Everyone that lifted a finger to help this car out throughout the weekend, I appreciate it, and can't wait for the next race.
The Greaves family definitely spending a lot of time with UTVs this winter.
That's right, Kate. And Greaves Motorsports doing it once again. And the thing he had to change motors yesterday, it was actually a hose clamp was actually hurting him, I believe, also when they made a change. So he wasn't able to give it full throttle as well. But you see the way they finished the top 10, they will add those to the points they received from round number 1 as they head into round number 3, ERX Motor Park in Minnesota. There will be 13 TORC championship rounds ending up in Crandon, Wisconsin, Labor Day weekend. These guys have competed
big
2
house.
of 13. Yeah, the big house. You love it. You love that track, don't you?
Oh, man. When I was there the first time, it was incredible. I was blown away.
We'll send it down to Kate Osborne.
Another podium for Kenny Mash here to kick off the season in round 2. Kenny, you're looking a little tired. How much was the battles out there? How much did that make you that tired?
Well, I got kids older than CJ, so I'm good. I'm good to go. It's a long race.
But seriously, another podium that's got to be a good way to kick off the season. How much confidence does it give you in these UTVs?
Yeah, we're looking at the big picture definitely to be in there at the end of the season, and I think we got a little bit more in the tank, and CJ's in front of us and just inching away, and I'm watching him instead of doing my thing on the track. So we'll get it figured out and hopefully be a little close next time.
You were definitely earning that second place up there today. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Looks like a moto guy to me, Grant. You see the Rockwell, the Graves, the Ocho on there. I know he spent a day or two on 2 wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Points ain't too bad after 2 rounds. As I say, Marsh, or you should say Mash.
Yeah.
That's the accent coming in. But only 4 points. Nothing in it. 2 second places. One little problem. This thing changes everything.
Everything he could have asked for. Let's send it down to Kate one more time.
Oh, a good podium finish for you. You worked your way to this podium, no doubt about it. For you, describe those last couple of laps and how you ended up in 3rd.
I was just hanging out in 4th place. I saw that opportunity open, and I just had to take it. I went on the inside and went for it. It's our first year with TORC, and it's been a blast so far.
That's what we love to hear. Congratulations, 3rd place, Dylan.
Yeah, I was impressed by Dylan Point, and you saw him, or I saw him, and I called it out. The way he was closing in, I said, if these 2 guys get together, he can take it. And sure enough.
Silent assassin.
Yeah, he did. Joliet, Illinois, the second stop of TORC the Off-Road Championship, but we still have plenty more, including Pro Mod UTVs up next.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
See the track preparation underway. Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois. Spreading a little water out there. It is an absolutely magnificent day if you're a short course off-road racing fan, because you're here at the dirt track, the little dirt oval, Chicagoland Speedway. Robbie Floyd, Grant Langston, and it's a beautiful day, 72 degrees. The wind's blowing out away from the stands.
Yeah.
And you have the best in short course off-road racing here to offer, including the UTVs.
Yeah, no, they just bring the raw emotion, basic form of racing, in my opinion. A lot of racers will tell you the best form of racing is a simple kind, and that's what we just witnessed there. The UTV class. It's not so much about the equipment, more about the driver. CJ Greaves, man, he's just been unbelievable.
Let's take a look at the highlights of the last race, the Pro Stock UTVs. We started off with CJ Greaves and Kenny Mash on the front row. CJ gets the whole shot. Mash stays behind the entire time.
Oh, a little mistake there, though.
Yeah, problems with Zach Martin pushes wide and gave the opportunity. You saw William Dixon take advantage, but he couldn't hold it as well.
Yeah, and then you see CJ right here. He takes that joker lane. He had to do that after the restart. Keeps the lead, and then the battle behind between Martin and Marsh just kept going. Little block pass there, little motocross style. Put it through, and that opened the door for
Dylan Poynton takes advantage of it. And look at the short wheelbase. Both guys a little bit of a bicycle. And Dylan's able to hold on to it there when his Yamaha, taking the Yamaha checkered flag, was the 933 Monster Energy vehicle of CJ Greaves. A solid finish, 2 for 2 in 2017 in the UTVs. Plus, you throw in his Pro 4 win last night as well. But one thing I want to point out about the Pro UTVs, when you and I came to the track a couple of days ago, we looked at, the pit lane.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, there's like 50 some odd UTVs out there. There's a change. I think a lot of times, you look at that developmental class. Where does it come from? And typically in TORC racing, it's been – oh, hang on. We got to catch this. Look at this coming in, our Bad Mofo Award.
Catch Me Outside. How about that?
Our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. But typically in off-road racing, the developmental classes would be a buggy. I now honestly think that the buggy is not the starter class. It is more the UTV. And one thing is, and you're going to love this as a motorcycle dealer, is you can finance your race vehicle. Possibly. You can't tell them necessarily that you're probably racing it, but you can finance that race vehicle. If it's a $15,000 UTV and you get full mod treatment for another $15,000, you have a bad boy. Literally, the same vehicle that CJ Greaves just drove, you can buy for $30,000.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy it for less than that, but they, like you said, they put a little bit of money in it. Yeah, and that's what's great about this racing. It's actually affordable for, some people might say, man, I can't afford that. Yes, I get that. But when we talk about racing, I always tell everyone, how do you make $1 million in racing? You start with 2.
Yes.
And you're left with 1 if you're lucky. So it does enable the people that are enthusiasts, that want to race, that love the sport, which is, I think, you, me, and a lot of people, well, most people listening to us right now. Now you can come in at the grassroots level and progress, and if you're good, guess what? Sponsorship will come anyway. So it really helps these guys, and I think it's the way forward for the sport. And unfortunately for the buggy side, I do see it, like you said, kind of phasing out maybe somewhat.
There's a lot of them. You'll still see them out there, but I still think the developmental class will now be the UTVs.
Times change, but certain things don't. The racing will continue. It might be different vehicles or manufacturers, but it'll be great racing, and I see it getting better and better. I love this kind of, tight niche racing.
No matter what, whether it's UTVs, trucks, buggies, we'll see them at ERX Motor Park. My boy Jeremy Meyer did a little piece of ERX Motor Park. It's the next stop on the TORC Tour.
It's mid-May. We're in Elk River, Minnesota at ERX Motor Park. Now, a year ago, nobody believed that we could make a world-class off-road racing facility. Well, 1 year later, here we are with 2 events coming up in 2017. When we built this track, we wanted to embody the true essence of off-road racing. We wanted a track that would change lap to lap for the driver so that they would be challenged from start to finish. The key area that challenges these drivers starts with a 180-degree clay turn. At that point, the drivers need to make a decision on a split lane sand section. Once they come out of that section, they come into a treacherous whoop section that leads right into a Talladega turn. In 2017, we wanted to ensure that the fan experience at ERX was second to none. We have improved seating, including 2 new bleacher sections, as well as a section of seating that we are affectionately dubbing People of the Trees. ERX Motor Park now sits on more than 400 acres. This allows us to accentuate the fan experience, including more than 150 new camping spots that are available for both TORC weekends. ERX is the best value you will find for your family all summer long. For more information on camping and tickets, go to erxmotorpark.com, and we'll see you June 10th and 11th.
We'll see you June 10th and 11th, but also September 23rd and 24th, it looked like up there as well. ERX Motor Park, it was our first time going there last year, first time anybody had went there last year, unless you raced a snowmobile. But you haven't got to go there, Grant. I'm hoping that you get that opportunity this year, but it is a little different flavor. Not only the big windy turns and uphill, downhill stuff, but the split sand section really changed things up. You've seen the Whoop Monster at Millville. Well, it's that times 2.
When I actually watched some footage online, and I just thought, man, I don't know, if I was a truck racer, I would be looking forward to that race. I love that nasty.
You love the sand. I mean, you race motocross.
I like to get loose and sideways. That was my style of riding. And when I've been in a truck, apparently. I've also been sideways and a little squirrely at times, but that's my style. You know, I love it. I don't like being precise. I like to be a little out of control. And that
Really?
track-
I would have never guessed. You like being a little. You like being a little loose.
Yeah.
Well,
every
you
now and
are
then.
one bad mofo, and then we want to talk about that too. And the only people eligible are Pro 2 and Pro 4-wheel drivers, but. Check out the cash, playa. Look at all this. We actually do give cold hard cash. Last night, won by Luke Johnson. It doesn't have to be a winner of the Pro 2 or Pro 4. It's just got to be the Vision.
You got to do something
Vision
really
Wheels
cool.
Bad mofo.
Yeah, it could be the biggest save. I think Luke got it, one, because he saved it, and two, you could say he kind of got robbed of a victory. Anyway. But
and you see at each stop, there's the Chicagoland Slam. We'll have one for ERX and a nice leather wallet. And out of all the people, and Luke got hit yesterday, and we've already documented that. But, I mean, the guy that I know will use that wallet, who will rock that wallet, is Luke Johnson.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, he'll spend the cash real quick.
Yeah.
He probably bought everyone beers
He'll
in the pits.
put all of Ricky and Stephanie Johnson's money in that bad mofo wallet. Well, those days are over with.
Oof.
He's having to pay for his own bill now.
He won't be able to fit it all in there.
Yeah, Ricky's a rich man. Okay, and we're missing our friend Ricky Johnson. His son, Jake, I went to say it last night and I forgot. Jake Johnson, who's Luke Johnson's brother, was graduating college up in Colorado, so that's why RJ not with us here. But happy Mother's Day, including Stephanie and all the people
Best
out there.
sandwich maker ever.
Yes, she trapped him, and we did a Facebook Live piece, and Stephanie Johnson actually trapped Ricky Johnson by making a sandwich back when they met. And Ricky was hooked ever since. I mean, he's just...
Yeah, she reeled him in.
Look at that. You see the breeze blowing, those flags moving just a bit. You see in the background the 1.5 mile oval, which you might have been here or at least watched on TV, the NASCAR or IndyCar races. And now you're seeing the dirt track oval, and that's where we have the best in short course off-road racing.
And what's making it tough for these guys working on the track is with this wind, you throw a bunch of water down, and it looks like it's a mud fest right now.
Hey, but with our Pat and Cat crew out there, no problems. The equipment provider for this stop, Pat and Cat, like to thank them. And yeah, they push, move, dig all this dirt around, water it with all the patent equipment. And thank you guys for doing the job that you do. And we do prep the track. Oh, look, some flamingos have landed in little Lake Minnewassaki out there.
They're in the exact same spot as yesterday. They didn't move this.
I did not notice that yesterday, did you?
I did.
Oh,
because I thought the same thing. I'm like, what? We got flamingos? And then I realized after a while, like, okay.
They didn't move. They came right from my parents' front yard, their stock tank to live right there. This is the second race of the pro division. And, of course, we've had sportsman racing up till now. And a lot of those guys are pros, but it's just a different level, if you will. And I know there's going to be some upset people with them, but Scott Rain and I used to do the webcast a couple years ago, and I called those guys amateurs. And that's not the case. Anytime you're racing and you make money, you're a pro. But the level at which you're a pro, things do get a little different, because when you see the Pro 2s and 4s, their guys have been out there at the highest level for years and years and years, and you don't just step right into the top class.
No. You got to go through the ranks. And look at the AMSOIL banner in the background. The wind has picked up. I do believe now why it's called the Windy City.
No, that's from all the blowhards and their politicians. I used to think it was from the wind, but that is why they called it the Windy City. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Like for all the government people, all the blowhards, and that's how it got to be named the Windy City.
Huh, well.
Because I live in Texas, and actually the city, like in downtown, it's windier in Dallas, Texas than it is in Chicago, Illinois.
Man, you learn something new every day. Thanks, Robbie Floyd.
But again, everything I say is officially unofficial. As we look at the Yamaha Pace vehicle, our official Pace vehicle, and the trucks, you will see the Toyota Escondido Tundra cruising around.
Is that the official Pace vehicle?
Yes.
Officially official? Okay,
that is officially official, the Pace vehicle.
Nice.
Our UTVs, Kyle Cheney, Tim Farr on the front row of this one. They finished 2 and 3 yesterday. Travis Pointer had a mechanical, but he'll start third today with Mitch Guthrie. Rodney Van Eperen, the winner at the last round, will start 5th. Hunter Miller, Reiner, Schultz, Brian was in this one. Number 868, Michael Gilliland, the second. Connor Bolin, Brad Minerick, Matt Schutte, Brad Sievers, Patrick McGuire, Jake Minden. Kyle Hart signed up for this one. We know he was having some mechanical difficulties. Andy Ives, Darren Howie, Zach Zakowski. Who will win the Pro Mod UTVs? The last round, it was Rodney Van Eperen. He starts 5th. Green flag means go. Is somebody pulling out a line, and they're not supposed to do that until they cross the flag area?
Well, he didn't make the pass until after the line.
They still have to hold their position.
Wow, what a start. I think that was Pointer.
We see him with the red background number 1, and I do not see that vehicle.
No, actually, my bad.
Turn
That's his
left,
teammate.
Clyde. Somebody, and it's hard telling, especially with the bikemen.
Cheney.
The bikemans, when they get so far away there, for me, it's hard telling them apart. And then the numbers also, when they start in the 800 range, that means that these are modified machines. Uh-oh, one of the bikemans is having problems, and now he gets it refired.
I think that was Cheney. It's really hard to tell the numbers, so bear with us, people. We apologize. But
it's far, Cheney, Pointer, 1, 2, and 3 as they come down the straightaway. So I don't think it was that. Van Eperen, actually. It might have been. I don't know who that was. Van Eperen has moved into 3rd, though.
Well, Tim Farr, a name that I've actually known for a long time. This guy was a legendary quad racer for many, many years. Now going into UTV ranks, and well, guess what? He's doing pretty well here as well. See the guys getting a little crossed up there, coming out of that turn. You see when it's slick, they're still sliding, going off the face, and that makes it tricky trying to just keep the vehicle in a straight line.
See Kyle Cheney there in the 891. He's trying to hold off Rodney Van Eperen. Van Eperen trying to get into that 2nd place position.
Oh, he looks at the inside, cuts it low. You can see the wheel spin there. But as the track dries out, that line would work better and better. Problem was, he put the pedal to the metal and got a little wheel spin.
Uh-oh.
Now really close.
Why did he shut down? Cheney just shut down on that straightaway, and Rodney literally almost Rambo'd him.
Is Cheney in the Can-Am?
Yeah, just in front. It's so dark I can't tell Can-Am.
I'm pretty sure that's a Can-Am, but I'm wondering if maybe it was hit the rev limiter or is mapped differently. You know, a lot of these guys set up, do you want the power at the bottom, the middle, the top, spread it out, however?
Yes, that is Can-Am. I see it now on the side. And we know that Farr, I have him listed in a Can-Am as well. Farr is far out in front with those Maxxis tires. He finished 3rd at the first round. He's out in front now, but we know at the competition caution and 2 wide there, maybe he was able to keep that momentum as Cheney. But at the comp caution after lap 7, no matter how much of a lead you had, something's happening there. It almost looks like he's shutting down.
Well, I honestly think it's because the Can-Am does not handle as well as the Yamaha. We've heard that from both sides of the camps, and I think he has to get off the throttle because, you know, we were talking about the rollers upsetting the vehicle, and I'm just thinking it's a suspension issue.
I was thinking it was the other way around. They were saying that the Yamaha didn't handle it as well, but it was fast. It was a straight line. Rodney Van Eperen is a pro 2-wheel driver. He's a former buggy champion a couple of years ago. I mean, he is fast back there in 3rd. He talked to me yesterday about how much fun these UTVs are, and I think this will help him develop his skills.
Slingshot.
Because this acts more like a truck than a buggy.
Yes. Now watch this. You're going to see
tight line by Cheney, and he slows down too much. It's one thing when you slow down and you keep the guy on your outside, but when you slow down and he flat out drives around you, then takes your line, it's another.
Yeah, as you would say, the big mo. Carrying the momentum around the outside, as you see.
Let's watch this again, replay.
Yeah, you just see Van Eperen. Look, watch it. Look how solid that Yamaha looks around the outside. Perfect arc. See, counter steering the front wheels, left, right, but he keeps it all the way to the outside, and then watch. Very smooth.
And then he winds up actually taking the exact same line that Cheney was in. Cheney was just going much slower. So when he was able to square it up on that outside and still shoot down to that line, I mean, that just shows you how much off the throttle Cheney was to try and hug that inside line.
Yeah. And this actually seems to be the line for Van Eperen. Come wide, and then right here, you can straight line those rollers. I know it sounds weird, but he's basically going into them straight and then turning a little bit at the end, but he's not coming in with all the weight on the outside. He kind of takes the weight off. Oh, look at that.
Cheney's trying to find some grip out there. He's one to square it up and dive to the inside.
Man, he came in there. Oh, almost cleared the tabletop. Had so much momentum.
Rodney Van Eperen's closing in here, though. Is that a lapper in front of Farr? I think that's a lapper. It may cause a little bit of problem or not. We'll have to find out. There's Van Eperen. But they should be getting the competition caution the next time around. That completes lap 6. Far out in front of Van Eperen. 5-second differential, though.
He is, far out in front. But, like you said, with that competition caution, they'll bunch everyone up, and I think that's going to really led to an exciting second half of this race. So expect the unexpected.
Farr's been the fastest lap of the race, though. The 8:04 of Tim Farr, a 47:01. The 8:45 of Van Eperen, a 47:03. So two 1,000ths of a second.
Nothing in it. Basically nothing in it.
But when we have that split lane, that choker lane, somebody's going to do something different, and then that's really going to tell the tale. Here we go. Tim Farr going to come across. Red and yellow at the same time means we're at our competition caution. And boy, turn down the lights. Look at our TORC gear for 2017. That green is bright.
It's glow in the dark.
Yes,
during the daytame. Well, these guys have to be noticed, so that's one way to do it.
The bright lights in our booth got me blind last night, but that shirt's got me blind during the daytime. 8:04, doing good. He is the fastest out of Wesley Chapel, Florida on the Can-Am. JB Racing machine, Fox Shocks, Maxxis tires. Maxxis got a lot of love yesterday, doing well in several of our classes.
Well, they've been around this series for a long time. Off-road truck racing, I feels like been their sort of bread and butter, and it's fitting that they do well. I think they've invested a lot of time and money in the sport. You like seeing them do well. It's multiple companies out there, don't get me wrong, but Maxxis, I really just feel like this is where they've developed their tires around.
Yep. Well, a Maxxis driver is Johnny Greaves. Oh, speaking of that, Kate Osborne's caught up with him, who's, I believe, the spotter for Rodney Van Eperen.
Yeah, what is the true differences? You can tell that he's really focused right here on the race. What's the true differences as a racer between spotting for CJ and spotting for Rodney?
CJ, we don't have a whole lot to tell him because he knows what he's doing. He just likes to know more about what's going on behind him, and Rod, he's still getting it all figured out. So when I can pick lines for him and tell him where I think he's going to be faster, and slow down here and you'll go faster there. So it's a little more fun. Because Rod, you can control him a little bit. CJ, he just does his thing, and he makes you look good no matter what you say.
There you have it. We'll let you get back to it. Johnny Greaves, guys.
All right, I'm sure Johnny told him, if you see him take the high line and take the joker, you take the low line. If you see him take the low line, I want you to take the high line. What do you want to bet he told him that?
Yeah, do whatever he doesn't.
Welcome, everyone, on TORCseries.com. This is the second stop of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. We're in the Pro Mod UTVs. Rodney Van Eperen, the round one winner, is in second place behind Tim Farr, the 604 out of Florida. Who's going to win this one? It might not be either of these two guys. Cheney, Miller, Schultz rounding out the top 5. Minerick, Gilliland, Zakowski, Howie, and Reiner rounding out the top 10. All right, they negotiate this outside turn. Now they can actually take that joker lane after this second half. Have to take it, or they'll need to take it at least once. We saw about a 20-second differential between. Green flag, an excellent jump by Tim Farr. Yeah, his quad days, he knows how to get those starts, but I'm sure he didn't start too many times nose to tail.
No, absolutely, but watch this. I expect him to go straight or right, however you look at it. As the leader,
he's going high. He's got all that speed going in there, and Rodney Van Eperen, he overcooked it.
He wasn't sure. He got stopped there. He wasn't sure, but he did the right decision. Now we got to watch. How is Tim Farr's lap going to be, and what does Van Eperen do?
And the next lap between the two.
Exactly.
Because every time we've seen this, say Farr takes the shortcut, now Van Eperen will go the long way around. The next lap, Van Eperen will take the shortcut, and Farr will go the long way around.
Well, as you can see now, if you see timing and scoring, he'll drop way down because of the fact that he did not take the joker. You see a lot of the drivers that have taken it have to run the real course. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm so curious to see, does Van Eperen take it this lap, or is he going to wait a lap or two? He did have some clear track, so if I was him, I'd maybe try and stretch it 1 or 2 more laps and see if you can't make up the time on the track when you take that joker. You come out, I think he just did take it, and then...
What? I don't see him. I don't think he did take it. If he did,
somebody else.
He really lost ground, and that's the first time he's up to 5th. So is Van Eperen only passed up to 5th because he was in 10th just a moment ago. If Van Eperen did take it, he had a big mistake that last time around.
Yeah, something...
that is the first time we've seen a guy actually lose multiple positions by either waiting or taking that joker lane.
Yeah, they must have... I got to imagine there was something else involved with that. But it definitely backfired. Didn't help him out whatsoever. Tim Farr still leading. just over 2 seconds from Cheney.
Is that Van Eperen I've seen pulling off right in the middle? I saw somebody just a moment ago pull off, not that driver, but just off to the left. And the attitude of that, it had to be Van Eperen. I think he broke something. He's just dropping down our time and scoring. 8:04, everybody has taken the Joker lane, but it's far. Cheney and Schultz now up into that top 3. Drew Schultz, the 8:32, now up in a podium position. Oh, almost downsiding that far. When you have an advantage like this, it's keep the machine safe. Keep it all in one piece, and he's still pushing it. But Cheney's starting to close in.
Yeah, Cheney's still about 2 seconds behind, but it seemed like the driver that lost drive as well as positions exactly a lap ago was Miller. He dropped a few spots there, but what's interesting, he's back in the race and holding on to that position, so I'm wondering if he just had a minor problem or stalled it maybe.
8:06 coming in there in 5th place. Just behind him, that's Minerick. Zakowski just behind him in the 890.
Nope. Up and under.
Minerick has that position on the inside of him. Now, if they catch wheels, these are open wheels. You see Nerf bars on there. But if they catch just right, they will go tumbling. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
Well, quick add on Rodney is John Agrees just took off his headset and he said throttle broke. It was Rodney who pulled off there in the middle.
Yep.
I knew it had to be something in broken throttle, so a connection probably to the throttle cable, something like that dislodged, or a rod nut came off. Not sure what operates the throttle on those Yamaha YXZs, but now...
Well, also, a lot of these guys do run something different. They change it.
Usually for reliability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How'd that work out?
Yeah, not so good this time, and now he's going to have to work his way back up through the national standings because Tim Farr's been consistent in 3rd. Now he's out in front. Schultz and Howie. So what happened to Cheney? Cheney is dropped back. Cheney's out as well. So they're dropping like flies. Schultz moves up into 2nd, and it's Howie. What did Howie that was on his lid yesterday? Somebody was. Yeah, wasn't he the one that broke off that right rear yesterday? In the 888, it's possible. White flag, 1 more lap to go. Tim Farr. The Floridian swings around that outside, keeping things safe. Nice and sturdy. He had an 8-second advantage, make that a 10-second advantage over Howie. Schultz in 3rd. So yeah, don't count anybody out because they're dropping.
Didn't expect this sort of a lead in this class. So a lot of circumstances happening, but Tim Farr just drove a flawless race. He's got out front early, ran clean laps.
I don't know what the heck's going on my time in the scoring because I now have Cheney in 2nd by the 891, and that's where he was.
Well, maybe
earlier,
he didn't take the Joker.
Grant, you may be right. We'll have to find out. The Yamaha checker flag comes out. Tim Farr takes the win, and maybe you're right. Maybe it was Cheney not taking that Joker, even though we thought everybody had, as we see the top 2 come across side by side. The 804 and the 891, Farr and Cheney giving a thumbs up, and we'll hear from them when we return to TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Turo Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Welcome back as the Pro Modified UTVs have just left the track, except for our top three. It's not a Yamaha this time. Can-Am's the ones that dominated. Can-Am 1 and 2. Possibly third. We'll get the word on Drew Schultz, the 832 here in just a moment. Let's go down to Kate Osborne with our winner. He finally did it. Tim Farr is the winner here in Joliet.
With a nearly flawless race. Really great job, Tim Farr. That was epic to see you on top there. What were you proving, not only for yourself, but Can-Am to be on top of the box?
You know, I knew I was fast yesterday. We had a little bit of heating problems, so we kind of had to backpedal a little bit. But today I just wanted to come out. We fixed some stuff, made some changes, and show everybody this new Can-Am X3 is super fast, and it's the car to have.
Well, I think you proved just that. Congratulations, Tim Farr, your winner here today.
Kind of stoic there, didn't he? No surprise, though, he was out in front of the 804 and his Maxxis powered KTM. I say Maxxis power because that was the tire that was putting all that Can-Am power to the ground. Let's go down to Kate Osborne.
Well, you were a topic of conversation there, Kyle, especially thinking that we thought you dropped back there for a while, but the Joker, it really helped you play it out. How did strategy help you today?
I kind of set my tires up for the second part of the race. I knew I wouldn't be really good the first part of the race when it was slick, so I just held my spot where I was at, and that one Yamaha was able to get by me, but I knew once the track broke in, then, you know, I'd probably get him back, and Tim took the Joker lane, and I saw the other guy went the other way, and I'm like, I need to follow Tim. You know, Tim's, you know, this is what he does. He's a great driver. Tim's my mentor. You know, he's great. I'm so glad that he won, and, you know, we ended up 1-2 with our Can-Ams.
Really cool for not only you, but also for that Can-Am team to be 1-2 today.
Thanks, Kate. And you see him and his mentor just in front of him. And you look at the championship points. Rodney Van Eperen, the points leader, drops back to a tie for fifth with Howie. But it's Cheney who takes that points lead. So he's going to be smiling a little bit more. He's actually tied with his idol. The guy he looks up to, he's tied with that points lead at 46 apiece.
Well, this is a victory in and of itself for you, Drew. This is your first podium in racing. Wow, what does that mean to you to be on the box?
It means a whole lot. I've had a lot of support from a lot of friends and family along the years, and just between parts and everything else, you know, I've stayed pretty true to these Polaris racers. Just knew it was a solid platform, and I could eventually put it on the podium. So I figured as long as I could keep making the machine better and better, I would eventually get here. So here I am.
It's fun to see your celebrations. Congratulations.
So a Can-Am, and a Polaris rounding out the top three, the Pro Modified UTVs. The little vehicles, they are done. We've decided those. Let's step it up. Let's go to the big boys. The Pro Lights will be our next pro racing category when we come back to Joliet, Illinois for TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. The tires on the car are warranty. Know what you need. The tires on the car now keep you safe. Hey, grip the wheel when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Want to go.
See the breeze blowing? These trucks are flying, causing a little more breeze down that front straightaway as well. The little dirt track oval. Looked like it was about a half-mile track. Now it's a little less than that if you're taking the big circuitous route around Grant, I'm checking you out on Facebook and Twitter and all that other stuff, Instagram. You know, a lot of people on, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you can hashtag TORC17 and ask us some questions. Tell everybody what a great time you're having, not only if you're here and in the stands, but also, at home, or where are you around the country or the world, kicking back on your phone watching television, for that matter.
Well, that's the beauty of this. It doesn't matter where you are, what time zone, what country, you can actually tune in and check it out. And got a lot of family and friends checking it out at the moment, so hi to everyone. And
do you have any questions, Grant?
Do I have questions?
No, if they do. If you might have, I know you have a lot of questions. You have a lot of answers. If you have a question you want to ask Grant or myself or Kate, and not only us, at certain times, like you saw Kate talking to Johnny Greaves, he's only racing one class. If you have a question, and not only at this round, but each and every round, if you have a question you want to have asked, ask us. If we don't get it today, we might get it to the next stop, but we'll try and get it today if it's something pertinent to that particular round, and we'll try and answer it if we know it. If not, we'll try and go to the guy that does.
I'll let you answer the questions. You're the smart one.
Yeah, negative. All right, here's the question. If I were to go to the casino that's right outside our hotel,
yes,
who do I follow? Who did well the past couple of nights?
I'm not exactly the lucky charm at the moment.
All right, so don't follow Grant Langston.
You can follow me, just you're not going to win.
Yeah.
But hanging out with me is like winning all the time.
Oh, yeah, the stalker Matt Walker. That's what it would be like. But, great facilities here. We're staying at the Hollywood and just right down the road. And I know Audubon Speedway, and Kate knows, and Bobby Rahal, he's like the head race pro. There's a road course right down the road here, and I got to go there with Graham Rahal and Bobby Rahal. This area itself is really racy. Audubon, I'd love to go out there. Maybe we can drive out there in Audubon. It's like a club course, and again,
awesome.
hashtag TORC17. I'm trying to go ahead and get in there ahead, maybe a Spec Miata or something like that.
Cool.
Let's take a look at the highlights of the Pro Mod UTVs. It was a good one. Rodney Van Efferen had a shot until that throttle went wrong, and he started back there in that back row. Tim Farr had the good start on the front row next to Kyle Chaney. But Rodney Van Efferen worked his way up through the field on the inside, on the outside, getting by Kyle Chaney there. Squares it up, makes a pass on him, and was out trying to make a pass for the lead. And then something happened, but that was our pass of the day. I mean, he can't win the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award from that pass, but that's my favorite pass of the day so far.
Yeah, it really was. And then you see Farr doing what he needed to do, take the Joker lane early.
Kyle Chaney did as well. One guy we didn't see and haven't seen in that race, and I didn't find him through there, and he got his vehicle, was Travis Pointer. We didn't see the defending champion in that mix, but we are seeing a points leader in Tim Farr coming out with a win in the second round here in TORC. All right, as we prepare ourselves for that next race, we get into the bigger trucks. And you've done this before. Grant, do you want to go ahead and let everybody know how your debut in the short course off-road racing went? And let's just get it out there. You are a multiple-time champion, by the way. Supercross,
well, like Robbie said,
world
everything's
champion.
officially unofficial. So I officially unofficially destroyed the truck. I was actually decently fast, but I learned the hard way. You can't brake slide to block power someone. The minute you pitch it sideways, you got to be back on the throttle, get the wheels turning so it doesn't catch the rut on the side and flip you. It spins through it. It kind of drives you around it. And anyway, I got a little overexcited, was feeling very froggy, very happy with myself, and tried to go from fifth to third in one corner and ended up just
0 to hero.
Yeah, I had my hand on the ground, which is never good when you're a driver.
No, did you really?
Yeah.
You put your hand out?
No, I was literally, to get out of the car,
oh, okay.
I had to use my hand to push off the ground. So I was I destroyed the truck pretty good, I'm not going to lie. I mean, if you do something, my mom always said, if you do something, do it properly. So I said, if I'm going to destroy this truck, I'm going to do it properly.
Yeah, do it right.
And I did it well.
And talk about somebody doing it properly, our Pat and Cat equipment out there, and you see from the water truck to those pushers to the grader, they're all Pat and Cat here this weekend. We like to thank them, so check out this little piece they put together. It's very serious.
At Patton Power Systems, we've got the power. The rental power for your business, for your event, for your peace of mind. Cat rental generators from 20 kilowatts to 2,000 kilowatts. The best power equipment, maintained by Cat certified technicians. Power, when you need it, where you need it. Patton Power Systems is your one-stop source for rental power equipment. Generators, light towers, heaters, air conditioners, and air compressors. Backed by Patent Power Systems, expert service and solutions. When you need it, where you need it. We've got the power.
And that's the only cat that I really like, Grant. No, I'm not. I used to have a cat, Kitty and Bob. Bob had no tail. But, I mean, these cats are a different world. And,
Bob the cat?
And you talked about – it was Bob. He was a bobtail cat. You talked about you had cat equipment. I know you had a track down in Florida, and you sold it to a guy that did pretty good in motocross too, but that's the kind of equipment that you used.
Yeah, no, I've always been a cat fan. I think they make the best equipment. They've typically built all the off-road tracks that I've seen as well as motocross tracks. So, hey, if you want to be the best, buy the best, right?
Look at you. You know, one of my first forays, and you were talking about how you had to get out of the car or out of the truck whenever you raced short course off-road. I raced modifieds. I went to UMP modifieds when I got out of motocross, and I was just a squirrel in motocross, but I was even squirrelier in the car. Actually, I was doing all right, but I was wanting to make contact. But I found myself when I was always turning left, you know, I would take my right hand off and almost brace myself because I'm not used to being thrown to the outside. Motocross, you're always just grabbing it, you know, trying to rail. But
well, you can also use your body weight. That's the biggest difference I feel between truck racing, you know, four-wheel racing as opposed to two-wheel. You can't really use your body. So here you really have to finesse the throttle, the steering wheel, the RPM, your setup, your tire grooving. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it that, you know, you may not see from the outside every time. But as you said now, pro lights getting ready to come up.
Yep, they're on the line there. Kyle Hart had a horrible start to his 2017 season. He's looking for some sponsorship, and he is the defending champion.
That's that black truck closest to us. You can actually see the red background and the number 1 plate, but no sponsors. That definitely is a bit of a shocker and a surprise. But, you know, if he drives the way he normally does, maybe he'll have a sponsor by tomorrow.
And no mechanicals as well, so getting some words of encouragement from one of our UTV drivers. They left the track. The pro lights are coming up. We'll be back with more of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by Amsoil, right after this.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
You know, when I saw the VP commercial just a moment ago, it made me think of Liam O'Donnell. You know, he's been driving a truck or two, and that front flip he did, and fans probably like to see Liam come out here as well as they're spraying some water on the track, preparing for the Pro Light division coming up. And, you know, Liam O'Donnell, the, VP driver, that monster truck that did that. Did you ever see that, how he just went full tilt boogie, caught the back tires, and did a front flip on that monster truck?
Yes.
Unbelievable. I don't know that he necessarily intended to do it quite like that and land on the downside of a tabletop, but that was a smooth move.
My son's really into monster trucks and any form of racing, so yes, he'll show me all those cool things that happen, so I don't miss anything entertaining, fortunately.
Yeah, Liam driving the monster trucks now. I know he likes off-road as well. Joey Sylvester also now driving some monster trucks, and we saw him in the TORC series a few years ago when you and I came into the tour. And you're looking at this track, and those dark areas are the racing areas, but they have water thrown on them by our Patent Cat crew. And Jeff Nordstrom and his whole crew, really delivering a fine product. The amount of dirt in a lot of tracks that you bring in these short ovals equals about the amount of that one tabletop. And they brought in a lot of dirt, a lot of opportunity for the drivers here. I think they appreciate it as well.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we got nice floater jumps, and the way they set it up, there's nothing extremely gnarly, but you got to land into a turn. So you come off the jump, do you set up on the outside? And we saw guys like Casey Curry, landing basically into a bit of a sideways pitch, coming from the very outside and trying to arc the turn. You got the rollers through turn 1 that you can see in the top right hand of the screen, as well as the rollers coming into that only right-hander, which is that sharp right-hander we see on the inside of all the flags. And, a right-hander, you see with the dirt they bring in, they go and dig it. It's actually right behind our TV compound. And you can see that they've had to bring in a little more dirt, try and fluff it up.
Yeah, dig more and more and more. And it looks like it's one thing getting it, but then they had to get it out. You can see they come in with an empty load, and then once they load them, then they leave. Look at those big old wagon ruts they leave.
They might be like the guys later in the race, just railing the ruts.
Yeah. Oh, man. That thing dries up. It'll be a good little rut track.
Oh, look, the flamingos are still hanging out.
Oh, they're
you know what it is? They love TORC so much that they don't want to go. They don't want to go to another lake. This lake is perfect. They got the best view in the house.
Yep. Other guys, like to thank them for doing a great job. Our impact safety crew, they've got a great view out there, and they'll be in the support vehicles at each and every TORC stop, and they're quick on the scene when we have a rollover, fire, anything like that may happen. Like to thank our impact safety crew.
The calm before the storm. Pro Light usually brings, in my opinion, in the past, one of the largest fields of our truck racing series, as well as young, enthusiastic drivers. Not saying trying to prove a point, but a lot of guys coming in as we see them heading to the track.
Hey.
So the anticipation builds.
But you can see them heading to the track, but I want you to listen to them heading down the track. Sounds good, doesn't it?
This is Pro Light.
I know. It's going to sound better.
I don't want to take anything away from it.
No, it's going to sound better.
It just gets better and better. That's the beauty of the sport. But no, they sound awesome.
We go 400 and something, up to 600 and something, to 800 and something, one after another.
Close to 900 horsepower. Well, it's basically the Toyotas in the Pro 4 are claiming at least 900 horsepower. So
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But they can't use quite all of it because they're limited now in power. Everybody is in their RPMs that they're able to pull for. So they have to put it in a different place. So maybe not getting quite the motor out of those guys as we've seen before. Everybody having to use the big motor with the lower RPMs. If you're mechanically inclined, you'll know what I'm talking about because they limited the RPM range of the, what about around 8,200, I think, for the Pro 4 class. So 10,000 is where they used to be.
Yeah.
Here we are, the Pro Light division. Who's going to step up to the plate and win this one? The first round was won by Casey Curry. These are about 450 horsepower as we take a look at the starting lineup. DOT Tires, Kyle Kleiman, Andrew Carlson on the front row, Cam Reimers, Cody Kleiman next to them, Chad Rayford, Casey Curry, the defending winner here in Illinois, Sean Morris, Matt Sorick, and Kyle Hart rounding out our field. Green means go. Let's get them started. 14 laps.
Not a great start there from Carlson on the outside. So Kyle Kleiman with a great start, and Cam Reimers up the inside, puts it into second at the moment. He's going to hold on to it. Wow, what a start from him.
Kyle Kleiman out in front, the 42, as we see. It looks like Carlson in third, squared it up, and somebody's underneath him, and we've got banging all around. Rayford, everybody has Sean Morris playing bumper cars, or bumper trucks, if you will.
Yeah, not by choice. There was just an accordion effect in that turn there, and you can tell for these guys, same thing. Track is different from earlier when they practiced, throwing some water down. It's a little slick, trying to figure out the lines. It's gotten choppier, but wow, what a start.
Let's go down to Kate, who has more on our leader.
Kyle Kleiman, a guy who we really saw develop into an incredible racer last year in Pro Light. I caught him as he was getting ready to get in the track is to run consistent laps. He said he's on pole position, as he called it, and he was just excited to get out in front and be consistent.
Thanks, Kate. Cam Reiner was back there. Andrew Carlson just in front of him. And Kyle Kleiman, a winner last year 5 different times, 7 different podiums. And if it wasn't for him missing the first stop, he might have been the champion in Pro Light. Kyle Hart took that honor. But Andrew Carlson, another winner back at ERX, he's in second. He had his ups and downs in the last round as well. Let's go to Kate.
Andrew Carlson is one of those guys who we've also seen develop into a premier driver. He got a lot of his experience in snowcross. Well, this last year in snowcross, he just decided that he wants to really focus on torque. That's going to be his main deal. And there may be some surprises coming up in the future, but he does know he has a fast truck. They have been working on it. As in round 1, he had one of the quickest laps of the entire event.
And Grant, you know, coming from snowmobiles, he also raced motocross. It kind of gives you a heads up on guys that didn't race other machinery coming into the Pro Lights. As we take a look back even farther, Cam Reimers in 3rd, Chad Rayford in 4th, that red truck just behind him.
Yeah, these guys just spread out a little bit in the front there, but you kind of feel like the anticipation is going to come, especially after that mandatory caution at the halfway point, and then you bring the Joker lap. So I think for these guys, they're trying not to, basically be like a turtle upside down. Keep it tidy, keep it clean, wait for the second half.
A little bit of sawing of the wheel of Cam Reimers, Chad Rayford just behind him. But Cam Reimers, we talked to him just before the races, and you could see the positive outlook. He didn't have the finish he wanted at the last round, but he said just people around him were making mistakes, and it was affecting him. It wasn't anything he did. He just couldn't make the moves he wanted to. If he had clean air, without a doubt, he was fast.
Yeah, and this is that kind of track. It is very tight and actually pretty small for these guys. Oh, Reimers just kind of
see a burn there.
Yeah, he stepped out of the rut basically, not on purpose, but you saw the back end come around, kind of scrub some speed. But this track is one of those where it is a little bit difficult to pass at times without being physical, because it is one of the tightest tracks that these guys will race.
Cam Reimers on that liquid wrench, Cooper Tires, Forest County, Potawatomi. Sponsor machine 21, the liquid wrench color is a little different. It was a lot easier to see him last year, that bright yellow. Now I'm looking at the bright yellow out in front of Kyle Kleiman. The 42's leading this thing. But I like the look of Cam's ride, but I sure can't see that yellow a lot better. That's Kyle Kleiman.
Yeah, the Ponzi sponsored machine is very noticeable, without a doubt.
And a lot of people wondering what Ponzi is, and you even questioned when you came into it. For the people up
I'm from
north,
South Africa.
You don't see that. Yeah, all the forestry guys know it. All those machines that grab the trees, take care of business, and it turns into lumber. That's what Ponzi's all about. They're one of the sponsors of the Kleimans. They are the Kleimans, and we're glad to have them helping them out. Kyle is hauling tail, but we know we're going to see that comp caution after lap 7, and then we'll see Carlson literally starting in his back wheels.
He is flying at the moment, but Carlson is actually closing the gap slowly. It was 2 seconds, and I can tell you right now, just visually, that is not a 2-second gap. It's probably about a second. They are going to be hitting that competition caution in 2 laps from now, so still time.
You see your favorite driver, Kleiman, Carlson, Reimers, Rayford, Curry back in 5th. Curry is the winner at round number 1. Hasn't made that move up to the front. The man on the move is Andrew Carlson. He started in 2nd though, but he's really showing that he's just as fast at times as Kyle. He might have lost a little bit this last lap, but pretty much. Oh, you see a big mistake from Kyle. Kyle made a big mistake, and now taking advantage of it is Andrew. We talked to Andrew's father yesterday, and they said they totally reworked that truck again, and it was working really well last year.
He looks good right now. He's just been closing and closing. I'm not sure if he'll, get the job done before the halfway caution. I'll say it again. It's setting itself up for a fantastic second half of this race, especially when you throw in the Joker. Because if you're the leader, I almost feel like you're a bit of a sitting duck. If you take it, most of the guys behind you won't. If you don't take it, most of the guys behind you will. So it's a catch-22. It's almost like NASCAR. Do you pit or don't you pit? Do you get 4 fresh tires or don't you?
Yeah.
Do you splash and go? So they really have to think on the fly, as well as chat with their spotters and go, hey, what do you think?
Yeah, well, they know they're not getting fuel or tires. At least it takes that out of the equation. And the next time it comes around, they will get the competition caution
where I was going with that is,
I understand.
Do you pull in or don't you?
Man, we're losing a lot of fiberglass there. No, I understand, but these guys, they don't really have to worry about those things.
Well, if they pull in the pits for a tire, that's because it's a problem.
Yeah, they've got serious problems. The Ponzi 42 has one more turn. Shortly thereafter, he'll pick up that Toyota Escondido pace truck. But the halfway mark is complete now in Pro Light. Kyle Kleiman is going to take those yellow and red flags first. Andrew Carlson in second. Chad Rayford in third place, followed by Kyle Hart, the defending champion, in fourth. Watch out for Kyle Hart. He's on the move. We'll see if he can make that move right after this.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios. The authority in communications.
Turo Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois. The Pro Lights are on track halfway through their race. The first half is complete. Now the choker lane will come into effect. They're able to take it in the back half of this race. They'll need to take it because it is a considerable advantage, but you have to, if you're going to win this race, you have to take it at least once. But you get behind that Toyota Escondido pace vehicle, and now the race begins. They're set up here, and I know I didn't see Cam Reimers on my list. He showed in third, but might have a problem with his transponder. But yeah, he was only 9 seconds behind at the stripe.
Yeah, he's third on track. There he is. Like you said, maybe a problem with his transponder. We lost him briefly, but came back up.
All right, the Toyota Escondido vehicle is pulled off now. We'll see that acceleration zone starting right now. Kyle Kleiman in the lead. Green beans go. Let's do it.
Great start from Kleiman there. Exactly what you would have wanted.
Somebody came up. Rayford broke something. Chad Rayford, I smell his stomach. He is either water, maybe water. I don't see any flames at all, but something is not right with Chad Rayford. Now we got a race for the lead. Andrew Carlson's on the inside.
And he bicycled.
And Kleiman takes that outside, but I could have swore he was on the inside.
I think he was maybe trying to sell a dummy there, as we call it, acting to go to the inside and then just floored it. And
they tell you if you're going to take that choker lane, you need to be on that outside. Boy, he was cutting it right to the limit there, because I thought they were both going to take that inner loop, but that's not the case. So you will see Kyle Kleiman out in front the next time around. We'll see if Andrew Carlson takes that quicker route. But it's Kleiman, Reimers, Curry. It dropped Carlson back to 5th as it stands right now.
Well, just watch, because
there's Curry also moving up. You see the number 2, the defending winner here in Joliet.
Look at the bottom of the screen to see if any of the drivers took the joker that lap. Did they?
There it is. That's Andrew Carlson.
But he actually, I think, may have lost
Curry,
it all.
Look at the run by Curry on the inside. Curry takes over 3rd. Casey Curry, he's doing it again.
No, that's
Grant.
Hart. That's Hart.
You're right, it is black. I didn't see that red number 1, so it is Kyle Hart.
You just said he was coming in the frame. He timed that to perfection and just did a slingshot up the inside. Defending champion, you don't have number 1 on the side of your truck for a reason. This guy is just making it happen right now. Smart racing.
And he made that pass on Cam Reimers, and that choker lane, it gives an option. So these drivers really don't play follow the leader. You see Reimers trying to get underneath. You see Curry trying to get by Reimers. You see Kyle Kleiman getting on the bicycle behind him. These are Pro Lights, and we're having one heck of a race.
Oh, look at that. Up the inside, Curry throws it on the inside. Oh, what happened? Reimers runs a little bit wide. Battle Royale, he's going to have the drive coming off the turn of the finish line, holds that position, but woo.
And that's the race for 4th and 5th. Just in front of them, Kyle Hart, Carlson in front of him.
Oh.
Kyle Kleiman starting to separate himself just a little bit. There's Curry all up in the business. Let's see what he does to Reimers. When you're that outside, you're usually going to square it up. Uh-oh, got a lot of push. You see him get on the brakes, and it still turned him straight.
Oh, look
there
at that
you go.
drive he got there. He's now alongside. Reimers has the inside.
What can he do from that outside? He's going to either try and drive around him or square it up. He's going to try and drive around him. Look at Curry. Pedal to the metal, but now he's set up to the inside. Reimers has to shut him down. Watch how far Curry jumps. He jumps to the inside. Now he's trying to move into 4th, but a great run by Cam Reimers, just driving around that Pro Power on that outside.
Yeah, great driving by Reimers, just not cracking under the pressure. Casey Curry, round 1 winner, all over his rear bumper, but keeping it tidy, and then right there, a little mistake. Casey Curry just full moto style, as we would say, probably had his feet off the pegs there for a minute, but gathered it up. Oh, and he just says, hey.
Cam got on the brakes way too early. He was able to stop, point, and shoot, or shoot and squirt, as you say, point and squirt.
Point and squirt,
I know
yeah.
you had these South African sayings. It's hard to keep up with. The race for 4th. Curry, when you have those back wheels off the ground, it's kind of hard to stop. He found a new berm, though, and that's going to give him a lot of drive and he can make that downside.
Well, this is awesome to watch. 2 guys that grew up racing motocross, so I can relate. Driving so awesome, but no one taking anyone out. That's what you love. Good, hard, clean racing, still side by side.
And Casey Curry, the 2010 Pro Light champion. That was 7 years ago, folks. And he's trying to
still side by side.
And Reimers made a mistake. When it turned him right, I think that's really going to cost him. It's all right if you're in that turn left and you're still pointing left. The second you point right, you're going to lose a lot of ground.
Now it's a role reversal. Reimers to the outside, tries to get a slingshot, which he might do. Casey Curry probably thinking, I finally got that pass made, but Reimers will not go anywhere. This kid's a fighter.
Cam Reimers, the 27-year-old out of Iowa, just behind Casey Curry, just in front of them. Kyle Hart is now they're separated. 3 seconds separate Kyle Kleiman from Andrew Carlson. Another 3 separate himself from Kyle Hart. And we only have a couple of more laps remaining. We're on lap number 15 of 60.
Unbelievable how quick this race has flown by. Not to mention we haven't had any full course yellows. Unbelievable.
Oh, you jinxed this. Let's see what happens.
I said to this point. But
yeah,
look at that,
right.
Kleiman in that Ponce truck looking solid. He's got the gap that he needs.
The race is for second, though.
Yep.
Look at the race for second. Andrew Carlson, he's been there pretty much the entire time. Kyle Hart is now starting to close in. Kyle Kleiman, that is a fast truck. We saw it last year winning 5 races. The race is for second. Watch that red background in the number 1. He's going to try and hold up the snowmobile racer, Andrew Carlson. Look at it. Kyle Hart, the Pro Light champion from 2016, is trying to move up 1 more spot on the podium. That's where the race is.
White flag last lap. You see Kyle Hart, he wants us. He's been coming as this race has progressed. He's just, I feel, gotten a little quicker, almost like the track has come to him. Carlson,
son of ATV champion Marty Hart, and there goes Kyle to the inside. He gives a really good line there, but only a half a lap remaining.
He's got 2 more chances. It's this turn, which I don't think he's close enough unless Carlson makes a mistake. But will he bomb dive it in that last corner? Watch, he's got to drive. I think he got a little bit better hookup. What's going to happen? Will Carlson protect the inside, or is he going to leave the door open?
Square it up on the out. He's not going to give up that inside. Taking that Yamaha checkered flag is Kyle Kleiman, his first win in 2017. Andrew Carlson makes the podium in second, and what a drive by Kyle Hart in third, number 1. Curry in 4th, Reimers 5th, followed by Morris, Cody Kleiman, Sorek, and Chad Rayford rounding out our field. Kyle Kleiman, he won 5-0 in 16, his first win in 2017 today.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car, all go
count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection. By Cooper Tires, we make tires for people, not just cars. And by Kenda Tires, designed for your journey. Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois, the second of 13 stops of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Pro Light competition is now complete in another excellent race. We've had 3 races so far and 3 excellent races so far.
Yeah.
Let's send it down to Kate Osborne, who's with our winner.
Kyle Kleiman just doing a couple of extra donuts there. That was quite the celebration for a first place. What statement were you making with that win?
Our program's turned around quite a bit, from where we started and where we're at now. It's come a long ways, and we're here to compete. Yesterday I had a misfortune, rolled over, and lost my brakes at the end. But coming out and leading the whole race, that's pretty cool. Carlson Racing Clean, it's a fun race. It's awesome to be out here. Can't do it without our sponsors, Ponzi, Maxxis, Pro Power, J&H, Dynamic. They're hooking us up. Everybody out here, my family, friends, crew, my girlfriend, my parents, thank you, everybody.
Well, what's cool is he also said that this is what he wanted to do, run consistent laps after getting out in front early. He did exactly that. Congratulations, Kyle Kleiman.
What a fantastic drive there, and what a comeback. Like you said, struggled yesterday, today number 1. Kleiman, Carlson, hard fighting through the pack. Curry just off the podium, round 1 winner. Reimers, I think he's a little frustrated because his speed was better than a 4th and a 5th in the first 2 rounds. Morris, Sorek, Rayford, round out your top 9.
Let's go down to Kate Osborne with 2nd place.
This podium to you and your team is really important, Andrew. Why is that?
Yeah, we had a less than ideal day yesterday. We've been really fast in qualifying, and I think we showed that to everybody, and then we kind of came out and didn't have the hottest run. I put her on its side and was really frustrated with myself and tried to push it too hard. So came out today, tried to get some redemption. We were on the front row right away. Kyle ran a great race, but truck feels awesome, and I feel like we had a really solid run, and just got to thank everyone coming out. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, and just the crew worked really hard getting this truck ready and made big changes in the off season, and the thing rips.
As we were talking earlier in the season, that this is what your focus is, and congratulations. So it's really successful podium for you.
Yeah, I'd be smiling too. That was one heck of a run by Carlson. He was up there. He had a shot at winning it.
Look at the points.
We're going to be in his backyard at the next round, and he's only 4 points behind. Curry, with that finish that he had in 4th, it's going to drop him back a little bit. The other guy is making up an advantage. Curry still holds on to that points lead. We'll send it down to Kate Osborne.
We're talking a lot about redemption here. Kyle Hart, another guy who this was kind of a redemption for you to get this podium. You said that this truck wasn't really working out for you all weekend. You knew you were fast. How did you put it together?
We had a mechanical failure yesterday, and we had to start in the back because that's where we were in points. So we knew what we had. We just had to work our way to the front, and this track was super tough. It come apart, and I got pretty wild in the whoops a couple of times to this sweeper, and it says everything for Max is for them things that held up to that kind of abuse, and I don't think you could punish one harder than what we just did in that race trying to catch these 2 right here. They were on rails, and we were doing everything we could, but we just fell a little short today. Me and Andrew Carlson battled it out the whole second half of the race, but me and my dad, we kind of decided to do this race at last minute, so we've been working our butts off to get up here, and to be able to get a podium going back home is great. And I'd like to thank them, Maxxis, AMSOIL, Fox, Dynamic Torque Converters, and just everyone else that helps me out. Thanks.
A well-deserved podium finish for your defending Pro Light champ, Kyle Hart.
The Pro 2-wheel drives are coming up next, and we have some new faces in 2017 that came from the sportsman categories. These guys are fast, but we really didn't know how fast they'd be. Eric Ruppel, he takes the first win of 2017, besting names like Lovell and Johnson. Man, what more could you expect from these new faces in TORC?
With all the new rules this season, it's really opening the doors for the sportsman drivers to come up to Pro 2. It's like going from the minors to the majors, and it's safe to say that Pro 2 is a brave new world.
We got new blood and we got veterans in the class. I mean, we've got Brad Lovell, we got Luke Johnson, and we've got the guys that I raced against in 42. It's going to make for a good class.
Most of all, probably earn their respect, stay out of their way. Certainly want to battle with them, but, you know, just be cool about it, learn from them.
Coming into the season, I'm very optimistic. A lot of new guys in the field and unknown competition, and hopefully I can be up there with them.
They make a mistake, hopefully I can, you know, take advantage of it. But most of all, just get a good relationship with the guys. Certainly do some beating and banging and having fun.
The emotion is high. Very excited and pleased to be here. 25 years ago, I was at the races watching Pro 2 guys run, waiting for this to be my dream one day.
Got to take it easy, not get over my head. That can happen pretty easy at a track like this. Be smart about it, and I think surviving this, you might be surprised what we get out of it. So
it's not just me out on that track, it's my team out on that track, prepping that truck for me. We're ready to go out and race and do battle on that track.
What are you guys doing here? Coming from Super Truck last year to compete in the Pro 2 class, you really have to step up your game. You have to have all your ducks in a row. Even if it's 4th, 5th place, whatever, there's going to be some good racing throughout the whole race, the whole year. We're here for one reason: win races, show people what we got.
Yeah, these are not super stock or super truck drivers anymore. They have stepped up into the Pro 2-wheel drives. You see them lined up. Let's add the horsepower and let's bring it on to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL, right after this.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
As you see our patent cat equipment grooming the track in preparation for Pro 2-wheel drive, we are 1/3 of our way through the Pro Truck categories. Pro Lights have just been completed. Robbie Floyd and Grant Langston and GL. It was a strong race for Kyle Kleiman, proving that he's fast, just like we saw him in 2016, winning 5 times, now taking his first win here in only the 2nd round.
Yeah, fantastic drive. Got out front, kept his nose clean. And if you talk to a lot of the drivers, they'll tell you clean racetrack really helps because you can take your lines. The minute you get a couple truck length lead, you can leave that door open, sweep the lines, carry the momentum. Even though these trucks have a lot of horsepower, it's still a momentum game. You know, you don't want to scrub it and then go. Pro 4, you can do that, maybe even Pro 2. But great racing to the end. This series is going to be fantastic.
You talked about that clean air. Let's take a look at the highlights of the Pro Light division. And Kyle Kleiman started on the front row next to Andrew Carlson. Little did we know they'd finish 1 and 2. But Cam Reimers with a good start. The Liquid Rich entry got underneath, and he was up front for a while.
Yeah, he looked good, and that's why I said the way this race unfolded, he's probably going to be disappointed with the result, but great drive. And you see there, swappity swap through that turn. Gathers it up very quickly, didn't lose much, and that was the pass for 3rd.
Slingshot by Kyle Hart in the defending champion. He would finish on the podium. There's Reimers, Casey Curry. They had a head-to-head battle or a door-to-door battle for several laps.
Oh, they were side by side, back and forth, inside, outside. You didn't know who was going to get the deal done, and then eventually Casey Curry was able to get that Monster Energy truck into the 4th position. Cam Reimers, very close, very consistent, just not quite enough this weekend.
And not quite fast enough to get up there with the Ponzi 42. Kyle Kleiman's the winner in Pro Light. Well, I see a winner from 16. I see another winner from 16 just behind him. Cam Reimer's won before. Cody's fast. Cody climbing. Chad Rayford was up there for a while. I wish I knew what was wrong with his motor or what it was, what let go on him. Sean Morris not having the series that he expected. And he yesterday, I mean, he talked about qualifying's one thing, but racing's another. He never qualifies well. But I wonder what's happening with Sean Morris in that Kenda truck this year.
Well, it is the opening weekend of racing, so for a lot of these guys, you think you've got a setup, or maybe he was testing somewhere else. This track is different. It's very basically tight niche for off-road truck racing. Different setup, more clay on that dirt oval. So maybe missed the setup. Maybe we don't know.
I'll have to ask him.
Little
after the
things.
race.
A lot of guys working out the bugs during the weekend, and everyone's saying, hey, someone pitched in, or we got help here. Or we literally just, as I always say, if it wasn't for the last minute, we wouldn't go racing.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys coming in, a bit rushed. Maybe he's got some things to figure out, but I think he'll be fine.
Look forward to seeing Sean Morris at ERX Motor Park as we prepare for the Pro 2-wheel drives. I also have that Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award, and start paying attention because somebody's going to determine who wins that extra $250 by Vision Wheels as these Pro 2s are about to line up on the starting line and check out their parade lap. Round number 1, well, we lost a body part there for Luke Johnson. LJ14, look at him on the inner, pushing to the outer, trying to get by Brad Lovell. It didn't happen there, but Lovell made a mistake in the big bendy left-hand turn.
Yeah, this is where they were side by side, bumping and banging. They could have taken each other out. Little respect there from both drivers, but this is where it became a decision from the race officials. See, Lovell just gets into the corner panel of Luke Johnson.
See, we see it different, and I know that Brad did not mean to do that necessarily. That's door panel to me. If it's right there at your door, that's a door panel, not the quarter panel.
It was just behind the door panel, so we can agree to disagree.
You're looking at the racer that has made more contact in motocross than anyone I know in the world, so he sees things differently than everyone else. Let's take a look at how Brad Lovell and Mr. Johnson. Let's see what they had to say. You're welcome anytime, Grant. Or maybe not. If you don't want to go to that piece, we don't have to. Well, there. They said something, Grant. I'm sure, I'm quite positive they do have an opinion. I want to hear that opinion. Let's hear their opinion.
Brad didn't take the joker, and I went for it. And coming into the white flag, we were drag racing, and he had a little bit of nose on me going into 1 and 2. So I shot to the inside. We got door to door through the mogul sections coming to the back straightaway, and I ended up back in the lead. And Brad took a shot, and I got Chicago slammed.
I could see if there was no penalty that Luke could have some frustration, but what's hard for me to swallow as a driver and team owner is the consistency of all of it. You see Pro 4s, Pro Lights beating and banging each other, and to pull a win from a guy for a move like that is pretty harsh.
It was a little bit of an aggressive move. It was a shot straight at the door. Brad, the gentleman that he is, and a competitive racer, came over. We talked about it after the fact, and he realized it was a little aggressive, but I feel like the penalty was fair.
So, as they get to see me talking to my producer, and I want to say this again. I know Brad did not mean to punt Luke. He was in a compromised position, and he made a little contact that time. And I understand what Brad's saying. He's looking for consistency. The one job that you and I know we do not want to be in is what?
Officiating.
Official.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. We see it in motocross, supercross, any forms of racing. There is what I call a gray area. And I wish there wasn't, but there is, because it's so close between what's legal and what's not legal. It's open for interpretation. Yeah, exactly. There's got to be some interpretation. That was hard racing. I understand why Brad Lovell was a little frustrated with the outcome. But if you look at it, he did make contact with Luke Johnson. It did cost Johnson the win. So from his side, he's going, hang on, you just came in. It was not a cheap shot, but you came in, you punted me, it cost me. So,
and as I said, I don't think it would have been as bad if it wasn't maybe the bumper or the nose of it. Door to door, you and I love that. That is the stuff. And you Supercross fans, Zach Osborne, he had so much. He comes out and wins the Supercross title at the last race of the year. One of the best races I've ever seen in my life. To me, that was fine, and it was much more aggressive than this one. But it's a different pointing at him, whether intentional or not, and then coming in for a stuff.
It was a last lap battle. Both guys going for the win. That's why I don't think there was any hard feelings between them, because they've both been on the receiving end and the delivering end.
Hey, tell us what you
awesome.
think. I actually have. I pulled up. They were actually hashing it out today and talking to each other, and I pulled up behind them.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I might have it on here. Let me see if I can.
Robbie's quite the creeper.
I could. Yeah, I was in full creeper mode. I'm going to try and show you. Let us know what you think. Hashtag TORC17 and follow us on Instagram. What do we have on at TORC Off-Road? Let us know what you think. What do you think about that incident? Was it a racing thing, or do you think there should have been a penalty involved? Let me look.
Well, there was a penalty. So
hey, I'm going to try and get it here.
I think the question might need to be, is the penalty
hey,
worthy?
Can you bring it to me on camera really quick? Let me see if I can get this. Let me see it. See if I can show this. Can you show it to me? All right, look at this. See, I've got Brad, and they're actually talking. Listen, here's see if we can hear it. I said, hit him. Hit him. Look at it. Now, see, they were about to. You see that? That's
stuff.
That's called me trying to start something out of the pits, and you can't because they're buddies. Anyway, I'm stirring the pot. But let us know what you think. And that wasn't me telling them, hey, come on, guys, talk together. You talk to each other.
Yeah, no,
those are two friends talking it out. That doesn't look like Johnny Greaves and Ricky Johnson back in the day. That was a different kind of love.
Yeah, well, they didn't have much love back in the day. But, hey, under the – when you're emotional and you got your adrenaline going and you come off the track and you find out something happened, once you calm down, you go and look at everything, you realize, hey, it probably was the right thing. But during the emotional time, you think you won the race, you come in, they tell you, no, you didn't, you got penalized because you hit someone. You are. I don't care what happens, you're angry because he's figuring, hey, that was racing, I didn't do it intentionally. But whether you do it intentionally or not, sometimes it's they've just got to do what they think is the right decision. And like it or not, Lovell got the punishment in the end.
You see these guys, and we talked about it earlier in the Pro Light class, and we'll pick up here in just a minute and talk about them. But listen to the sounds of the Pro two-wheel drives. We've upped the horsepower now. Different rules for 2017. Also a DOT tire that they'll have to deal with, a tire that you have to buy off that showroom floor. Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The Pro two-wheel drives are taking their observation lap, checking out the track preparation being done. They've laid out water in preparation for this big-time 16-lap race. We have upped the horsepower, and you see the best in short course off-road racing ready to hit the track, and Eric Ruppel will be the man they're gunning for. He's the winner in the first round. You see the categories. Pro two-wheel drive, we're up to 410 cubic inches, but around 700 horsepower. They do run a DOT tire. We've upped the suspension. The DOT tire is different. It's a tire that you would buy off the showroom floor. Last year they were running project tires. Hanegraaff on the front row with Conrad, Lovell, and Johnson. They're on the second row. Mitch Dorr, Eric Ruppel, back another one. Work your way through the field. Find Peterson, Mueller. Find your favorite driver. Let's cheer them on. But the guys that went head-to-head in round one, they're on that second row, and a great jump on the inside.
Yeah. Great start there.
Cody Conrad looks like with an excellent start. Brad Lovell going to try and follow him. You see the AMSOIL 44. He was fastest all weekend. Johnson has now moved into third.
How about Luke Johnson splitting the drivers there, made it 3-1. Oh, Lovell.
Watch this.
Shot.
What a move by Brad Lovell.
Oh.
And what are we doing? Making sweet love to that tractor tire is not going to work. What has happened to Kevin Hanegraaff out of Appleton, Wisconsin? You think he's stuck?
He just beached himself. I think he got the rear end too far around and then basically kept in the throttle. He might have been, give him credit. I know it's easy to judge from the outside.
He wasn't expecting Brad Lovell to be coming way out there.
And then
watch.
Was it contact? No, he hugs it.
No, he just turns in too much.
And then
he just wasn't. You know what happens when you look at your nose? You don't see what's out ahead of you. He went to turn in and he just kept turning in.
Anyone that's been on a bicycle and they see a rock coming up and you think don't hit it, but you're looking at it and you hit it and you go, why did I hit that? Allies of Autism sponsored vehicle.
Whoa, you got to let him unhook you, bud.
Can you say enthusiastic? Have to look up Allies of Autism, see what that's all about. Actually, as a father of a kid that has autism, pretty interesting.
Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois. TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOILS. The second stop of the 2017 season. The Pro two-wheel drive division are on the starting line. They're about to line up in preparation for the second race of the year. The defending race winner, Eric Ruppel, in the field in the Maxxis tire entry. What are the two-wheel drive pros all about? Well, we upped the horsepower. Now we're in that 600 horsepower range. The Pro four-wheel drives will have even more than that, but we'll also see DOT tires just like the Pro Lights now in the Pro 2s as well. They'll start side by side on that front row. Cody Conrad and Kevin Hanegraaff will start on front, followed by Brad Lovell and Luke Johnson. Mitch Dorr, Eric Ruppel back on row 3. Find your favorite driver, and these are really excited drivers and several drivers coming over from the sportsman category. Taking a look at the class comparisons between the Pro Lights and the two-wheel drives. The two-wheel drives now have 410 cubic inches, 600 to 700 horsepower when they were in that 800 to 900 power range last year. But now you also have more suspension than the Pro Lights, a little bit heavier than the Pro Lights. But really important is that DOT tire. That front row will set the pace following that Toyota Vescandito pace truck. Hanegraaff and Conrad, whoever's on that inside pole will set that pace in that acceleration zone. If you see green, all is good. That means go. If you start seeing those yellow flags come out immediately, that means somebody has jumped the gun. Pro two-wheel drives are about to hammer down. Conrad grabbing gears. Look at Brad Lovell back there, 44 on that inside in second.
Oh, how about Luke Johnson around the outside, takes the high line, carries great momentum up to second. He looks racy.
He's going to square it up on that outside, trying to turn it in, but will Conrad give him that inside to dive under? Yes and no. Johnson will take him. Yep, you knew there had to be contact. We saw it coming, but Brad Lovell's going to have a head of steam. Watch Lovell. Does he slow down or does he stick it in there?
Oh, they all run wide. Look at that. Luke Johnson squares it up. Oh, my goodness.
The answer
was
answered.
In the background.
Lovell stuck it in there, and they are on four wheels, so maybe they pull off. Or do they? Mueller's sitting there. If he stays, they might restart. But nope, he starts. Great
Gets
job.
it fired up.
Excellent sportsmanship out of him.
Look at this. Johnson around the outside again. He makes that look easy. As you see that corner panel coming off with the American flag on it. Has he got it sealed? He's got the high line. Yes, he does. Conrad goes to the inside, has to brake check real quick, and Lovell.
His spotter has to let him know that Lovell's right there.
Yeah, and Lovell actually had a check up on the exit of the corner as he had his line taken away. So, are we going to see a battle like yesterday? Look at this. Lovell, I think, has got it. Now in the second.
This is what we expected.
Oh, 1 and 2. These guys went at it yesterday, and guess what? Deja vu.
Yeah, that was round 1 and on to Will. That's Conrad. If he gets back on, is Ruppel going to tap him over? We're going to have a full course yellow because he is definitely in that racing line. Also, you saw a little bit of a fire there. That was exhaust. Some of the unspent gases burning there, and our
look how quick these guys are. I love this.
impact
Watch
safety
this.
crew are on it, and they're going to pull him over, trying to upright that vehicle. And you got to hope that all the oil and stuff's not coming out. Also, the damage possibly done to that motor. Whoa, 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 whoa.
He hasn't hooked it yet.
Yeah, okay. It looked like he was. Let's take a look at what happened to Conrad. He's the third truck in this picture.
Yeah, he just hooks that right. You can see the guy spinning through it. Luke Johnson does it, and then watch, just a little hook right there. You can see it's biting, He's trying to counter steer, almost able to get back to it, but
too late, and he lands on the door panel instead of the 4 tires that he wanted to. And I don't know if she'll fire up or not, but I do believe Cody Conrad is out of this. Akinda Tire Conrad's Auto Salvage. Let's take a look again what happens. It looks like everything's okay, but eventually he finally finds a little wall of dirt and he gets into it.
Basically, when the rear end breaks loose, it puts so much pressure on that outside, and you see it eventually just catches that rut just enough. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are pushing the limit. See some unburnt fuel there. Fortunately, with the safety of these vehicles, drivers always able to get out. Wow. Now she's smoking.
A lot of smoke coming out of that truck. Again, could be the different fluids, one thing or another. That is a hot truck. And again, the safety crew, our impact safety crew, are taking care of those guys. All of the drivers here, young and old. I'm not saying any names when I mention old. Let's go down to Kate Osborne.
Flipped the truck over, and Cody is out of the truck. I did talk to his dad, Jerry, who was spotting for him, and he said all he heard him say was, "It's hot," and so he didn't know if something was spilling on him or not, but obviously he's out of the truck and walking, so they're gonna go check and see what really is going on.
Thanks, Kate. And hot, you don't know if that's hot because of fire or hot because of radiator?
Well, I was going to say, there was a lot of steam, so I think maybe radiator fluid. Yes, it's almost at boiling temperature, so you saw him jump out very quickly.
Yeah, I was wondering why he wasn't trying to restart it, because it looked like a fairly simple roll or tip over, and usually guys will go ahead and try and refire it and maybe even still win the race. But when you start feeling the hot fluids on the nether regions, it's time to get out.
Yeah. You start panicking. I've been there. Get me out
Me as well.
ASAP.
So our Toyota of Escondido pace truck is out there, and he will pull off the next time around, and they will restart nose to tail. Johnson, Lovell, Dorr, Peterson, Ruppel. Sounds like a replay of last round, doesn't it?
Well, I'm anticipating some good racing coming up in this conclusion of Pro 2s, because all these guys up front, they've either had taste of victory, they won it again, or they've never had it, but either way, the motivation is very strong.
So Cody Conrad, he's able to upright but not re-enter this race. Luke Johnson's going to lead the field, only 2 laps complete of this 16-lap race. Brad Lovell in second, Mitch Dorr in third, Peterson and Ruppel rounding out the top 5. And we restart with Brad Lovell going to the inside. You see that horsepower trying to drive around the outside to 14 of Luke Johnson. The multi-cam entry keeps his foot in it and stays in front. But he's way outside here. Another chance for Lovell to dive underneath.
Same turn as round 1 where these guys got together, but you see Luke Johnson leaving the door open but carrying the momentum. Lovell, maybe if it was the last lap, would run it in, but at these early stages, everyone just trying to kind of keep their nose clean.
Look at those runs.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see these trucks are getting upset. So I think a lot of these drivers never mind trying to race everyone else, just try and get around the track safely.
He opened the door, Luke went too wide, and Brad Lovell takes advantage but gives him the racing room. These are 2 buddies going side by side, a slight advantage, 8/100ths for Luke Johnson. Johnson now shuts the door right there. Lovell gets it squared up. Lovell's going to have a great drive down this back straightaway.
Now Lovell has the inside to this turn. Johnson's going to have to leave the door open, try sweep it. What's going to happen? You can tell still a little bit slick, so it's hard for these guys to really run it in deep on the brakes.
And that was a good turn and jump by Johnson, landing on the downside of that tabletop. The Spider Likes 14 truck doesn't have Ricky Johnson calling the shots like he typically does for his son. He's out, and his son Jake had graduated college this weekend, so he spent some time with him. But LJ has a new man in his ear, and right now it's working.
Yeah, Luke Johnson drove great yesterday. Didn't come away with the win, but driving great once again. But he knows also driving great, Brad Lovell, the guy that came together with Luke Johnson yesterday. they're starting to stretch it out on the rest of the pack.
Lovell looks faster right there.
Yeah, they seem to both have their little spots there. I think this is where Luke has been gaining a little bit, and then Lovell brings it back in the other part of the track.
Yes and no. Luke's fast there because he goes so wide. When Lovell's closer, Luke cannot do that.
To close the door,
you cannot do that if you're Luke Johnson. It's fine as it stands right now, and I know Ricky Johnson's probably watching in Colorado right now on his phone on TORCseries.com, and he sees his son, and he's just wishing he could offer him advice. The former champion of both Pro 2 and Pro 4-wheel drives, Ricky Johnson, his father. Brad Lovell has been winning races all year long. His Ford Bronco has been tearing it up in everything he entered. He won in West Texas a couple of weeks ago in an off-road race, and he has been the fastest man this weekend. So far, our fastest race, or our fastest lap,
is from Lovell.
Is Brad Lovell.
45.6. Luke Johnson just 0.2 off him.
Actually, I want to change that. The fastest lap is Galen Gee out of Crandon, Wisconsin, of 43.43. I'm not sure how that happened back on lap 2, but he has the fastest lap of the race. Maybe cut off a little bit. He had to adjust. Hey, but we're far from done. We also have a competition caution in a couple of more laps. This is a 16-lap race at round 1. They were racing 18 laps. Great run again by Brad Lovell. Now watch. Now we're getting close. I don't think Brad would mind being out in front as they head to that competition caution.
Yeah, some way, shape, or form, Lovell's just getting great drive out of these tighter turns. And you see him, he just keeps creeping up on Luke Johnson. One of the things we know he does not have, speaking about Luke Johnson, is that basically handbrake, or the pull brake as some people call it, where you can pitch it in. And you know where that helps is like a right-hand turn where they're coming up to now, where you can just pitch it in and basically get the truck turn and do a point and squirt, get out of there.
Lap traffic, Galen Gee, there he is. It looks like he's broke, so they're going to have to alter their side. Kate Osborne, do you have more on Brad Lovell?
This is a guy who literally is coming into this season differently than we have seen him in a very long time. He says he definitely has some forward momentum from his TORC off season. He won King of the Hammers in the EMC race. He raced Mint in the 68 Bronco. He had a blast there. He's won a couple of other races, and you can see that confidence has really helped him here at the start of the season.
Exactly right, Kate, and having a little difficulty getting by Gee, and he was trying to get out of the way, but it caused a little problem. I do think that Brad is the fastest. He looks more in control. Luke's truck doesn't always look as good as it should be, but you're right. If he doesn't have that, it's kind of like an e-brake is the way you think it is. He's trying to bring the thing around. I call it the chicken brake, but it's a turning brake for these trucks. He actually lost his right front brake in that incident yesterday, or at the last round, and that cost him towards the end of the race as well on that last lap. But we're going to have the competition caution come out right now, and you know that 1.5 second differential is going to be about 0.2 second differential here in just a bit. We're only halfway through Pro 2-wheel drive. We have more to go in Joliet, Illinois for TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL.
Everyone has their daily routines. Some of us thrive on adventure, the thrill, even just a little family time. We live for the weekend. Whatever your passion, Kenda Tires is there for you. Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios. The authority in communications.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
There they are. Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois. They're about to start the second half of this Pro 2-wheel drive race. 8 laps down, 8 more to go here in Joliet, Illinois. The second round of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. Luke Johnson leads the field. Brad Lovell right behind him. Mitch Dorr, Nelson, Hanegraaff, the top 5. This race is far from over. It came down to the last few turns in the last round. I expect the same thing today.
Clean restart, everyone getting off pretty much where they were lined up, but Lovell is close to Johnson.
Let's see who takes that Joker lane. It looks like on that inside is Luke Johnson. And I do not think that Brad Lovell really wanted to take that outside, but Luke had set up on the outside like he had done every time.
Which is smart, because he had to brake and Lovell had to wait for Johnson to turn down to get by him. But for Lovell, they probably hurt him just a little bit, but let's see, can they click up the lap times? Now you'll see Johnson, obviously not the leader at the moment, but watch, Lovell's going to take the regular race line.
But you see how wide that they're taking it at this round compared to last round? Johnson had always set up for that turn on the outside, even when he was taking the inside.
Also smart, he closed the door. He basically didn't allow Lovell to just pin it around the outside because Johnson was braking, so Lovell had to get off the gas. And like you said, last minute second.
Here we go. Let's find out. How's it going to happen? Look for Luke Johnson.
No, and he was holding the mail.
Adios for Luke Johnson. I think that one bobble that really cost Brad Lovell, and he could have followed Luke. He could have followed Johnson on the inside. He chose to take that split like everybody has done, but that was by far not his best lap.
We said it before, you got to almost do what the guy in front of you doesn't. So if he takes the Joker, don't do it. Give yourself a chance to gain some track position to try and come out with the lead when you do take the Joker.
On lap 10, Luke Johnson ran a 24.46. Brad Lovell a 41.03. That shows you the differential between that Joker lane and not taking that Joker lane.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of a difference. Luke Johnson there just really setting that truck up really nicely going to that last turn. Lands on the outside, slightly pitched, gets on the gas, and now you can see with a bit of open track. Oh, you see the small bicycle there, inside wheels barely on the ground through that turn.
And Luke Johnson also having to pay a lot out of his own pocket, having to pay everything out of his pocket with his sponsors. Brad Lovell has AMSOIL behind him, a former Pro Light champion. Luke Johnson now moving into Pro 2 from the Pro Light division, which he was in for many years. But Brad Lovell in second place has been consistently fast all week long, and you look at him, he's not giving up. There's still 4 laps left just behind Brad Lovell. Mitch Dorr, a man who came from the Super Stock division. He was a sportsman driver just last year. And you see Mitch Dorr at all the Midwest off-road races, and he's a consistent guy. You always see up there as a front runner, but when you're racing with Pro 2 drivers that have been doing it for a while, it's just a different world.
Yeah, these are the best of the best. Luke Johnson comes from a great pedigree. Like you said, his father, a multi-time motocross, supercross, and series champion in Pro 2, Pro 4, all-round legend. And Luke Johnson, just a chip off the old block. He gets from his dad. This kid can ride a dirt bike. A Pro 2, a Pro Light does not matter. And right now, just really keeping it steady out front. We thought Lovell had the pace, but since Lovell dropped back about 2 seconds after they did the Joker lane, he has not been able to close it back up.
He hadn't looked the same, and I don't know if the track, it also came to Luke as well.
Yeah.
The track might have came to him because it is tire setup, and when they're running a DOT tire this year, not like last year, both on Cooper tires, they're on the same rubber, but how they cut them might be different, or it's different, how you set this truck up.
Hey, I just happened to notice something there from Luke Johnson, talking about coming from a bit of a motocross background. Watch him through turn 1. He actually uses the throttle to sort of seat bounce through the doubles. He basically pedals it to jump through that. He'll get off and pedal it, which usually would upset the truck, but when there's rollers where it gets upset anyway, he's purposely setting it the way he wants it.
Okay, if it's a true motocross seat bounce, my friend Lou Lopez, I think he invented that back in 1937. When he does this seat bounce, we'll hear him say, what? Brap. We'll see. I'm gonna listen. Listen, he's going to say, right here, it should be brap.
Yeah, you can hear it. It goes brap, brap, brap.
Just chapping through the whoops.
Even a little valve bounce there, I think.
Yeah, as motocrossers Jeff Glass would say back in the 90s. And Luke Johnson, the the Spider Lights multicam entry. Red Bull Racing, I mean, the 14 is looking to prove that he is a Pro 2 driver to compete with, because he's been in that Pro Light racing circuit for so long.
He's
And he competed in Crandon last season at the last race, but unfortunately, Ari Leindyke just happened to land into his back end, and it popped the front end up, and he went straight into a concrete barrier, and he's 1 lap away from winning his first ever Pro 2-wheel drive race in TORC.
You can hear him playing with the throttle again. This is an awesome moment for Luke Johnson. He's just got to keep the rubber side down these last few turns. He's got plenty of time behind him. He doesn't have to push it. He knows that. He looks like he's having fun. He's just going for it right now.
No question, but usually on that last lap, and especially with lap drivers in here, you're saying, all right, come on, buddy, don't get me wrong. That driver did just that, but you start hearing the motor, you start feeling random, maybe the tire's going down. There's got to be something wrong, but sometimes there's nothing wrong. He didn't start out in first, but he's going to finish first in his first Pro 2-wheel drive win as he takes the Yamaha checkered flag. Luke Johnson wins in Illinois, Brad Lovell in second. Mitch Dorr's going to come across in third. And you know he wants to do some winter donuts, and yeah, he's swapping around like crazy. Those are intentional, and you know he has to be screaming inside that helmet, cheering on, or his fans cheering him on around the country as well. Luke Johnson, a first-time winner in Pro 2-wheel drive. I'm quite sure it's not going to be his last, and we're going to hear from him when we return to Joliet, Illinois, the second stop of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. No one you need. The tires on the car now keep you safe. Hey, grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel of TORC, by Aturo, the tire with the style you want and the performance you need, and by Vision. From high-speed desert racing in Baja to short course carnage, Vision has arrived.
The day has finally arrived for Luke Johnson here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The 25-year-old out of Murrieta, California, takes his first ever Pro 2-wheel drive win, and Kate Osborne is with him.
Luke, you told me earlier today that when you started your career, all you wanted to be was a Pro 2 racer. Describe what you were thinking as you were crossing the finish line. Checkers, what was going on in your mind?
Man, this is a dream come true. I went through so much this week to get here over the last couple years of my career, and to be standing on top of this box means the world to me. I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom. She's not able to be here this weekend. And congratulations to my brother for graduating college. But man, these multicam guys, my crew, everyone that donated time to help get this here. Langlade Ford, Red Bull, I mean, these guys have been nothing but amazing. These Cooper Tire DOTs work awesome. Method Wheels, man, these guys have stuck behind me through the thick and thin. This was a rough off season to be standing here, man. Whew.
You heard him. He said what it took to get him here today, but really what it took to get him here in Pro 2. Congratulations, Luke Johnson, on your first Pro 2 win.
And you could see the emotion just flowing, because it's not only a passion of his, it also was money out of his pocket. Dad was the champion, had a lot of support behind him. He has limited support and takes a win in the first couple of Pro 2-wheel drive races of his career. Johnson, Lovell, and Mitch Dorr rounding out the top three. Brad Lovell What a heck of a battle. I thought he had a great shot of winning. I thought he might have been the fastest driver heading into that Joker lane, but Luke Johnson was just a little bit quicker that one lap, and that looked to be the determining factor. Let's go down to Kate, who's with Brad.
Well, an interesting weekend for Brad Lovell, no doubt about it. But, you know, Brad, we kind of saw very aggressive driving there in the start. You guys were battling it out really clean. But then that second half, we saw a little bit of a different driving style out of you, it looked like. How would you describe it?
Well, you know, we were working really hard at the start there. We got out in front on the start and then kind of got screwed by that restart. And, you know, Luke's running plenty quick out here. So, you know, we're doing what we could, and the truck felt great. The whole thing set up really well. Got to really thank the team for helping out. AMSOIL, Cooper Tire, Spider Tracks, everybody who's helped us put the car together over the season.
This forward momentum that he had in the offseason, I think we're going to see you continuing on the podium here the rest of the season.
And a lot of smile out of Brad Lovell, and it's good to see that because last year didn't start so well for him, and he's only 4 points out of the championship right now. And lo and behold, Luke Johnson, even after all the disappointment yesterday or at the last round, Luke Johnson is the series points leader in Pro 2-wheel drive. Mitch Dorr, how about that? His first year in Pro 2-wheel drive, he's only 2 points out, and he makes a podium here in Chicago. Kate Osborne sent it to him. He's only second in points, or he's already second in points.
An incredible start to the season for Mitch Dorr. Wow, we talked yesterday in round one just how you were kind of trying to get the feelers and get comfortable. Got to ask you, what have you learned now with round one and round two that you were really looking to learn from all these other guys?
A lot about that. I had to learn in a real short time. Felt real good to hang with them. I would have had a lot more for him. We lost an alternator, so I was pacing myself. It's like, do I go for it or just finish the race and got a third place? Real happy with that. Would have loved to have been up there with them, but just pacing it and made sure we got to the finish line. I thank Monster Energy, ATD, the fans. Had a great show. I hope they enjoyed it.
A true racer indeed. He wanted to be up running with them, but I'd say be real happy with your 2 podiums and second place in points. Congratulations, Mitch Dorr, third place here today.
2 classifications have now been complete. The Pro Lights, the Pro 2-wheel drives, and the big, bad boys are coming up next. Pro 4-wheel drives. And in that race, we're going to see a guy in a new truck for 2017. Keegan Kincaid, we've seen him in Pro 4 before, but this is his own livery, built by his dad, Jeff Kincaid, and he means business in his first full year of competition.
I have a lot of respect for the Pro 4 drivers, and especially after I got the opportunity. Mike Jenkins Tracks just gave me the opportunity to drive a Pro 4 last season. I enjoyed myself. It's just an experience of a lifetime, and that's kind of what motivated me to get there. We didn't really have plans what we were going to do in 2017, and we got the call that we're going to go to Pro 4, and we just reworked our whole program, and we're hoping it pays off and we can do battle with Johnny and CJ, Douglas, everybody else in the Pro 4. It's a whole new truck, so it's a learning curve, and Pro 4 to Pro 2 is completely different, and I'm excited for it. I'm out for the challenge, and it's just become a natural progression to be able to step up to the premier class. You know, the fastest of the fast is a dream come true, and I look forward to watching my program grow, not only me, but my whole team that works, you know, their heart outs to give me the best opportunity to compete and be on top spot. We're going to come out here, just hopefully be consistent. You know, we want to win a championship, so this first weekend's going to be consistency, and hopefully we can pull off a couple podiums.
And expect big things out of Keegan Kincaid for 2017. He's only 27 years old, but the guy they're going to be chasing, no doubt, will be the defending champion and round 1 winner, CJ Greaves. We'll see him when we return.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Welcome back to the Chicago Slam here at Chicagoland Speedway, Joliet, Illinois. As we get ready for Pro 4, let's have a look at the highlights from that fantastic Pro 2-wheel drive round 2 that we just witnessed. Great racing from the get-go. We saw up the inside was we saw Lovell make that pass pretty quick. We thought, oh, is this him getting away? Then problems for, I believe that was the Guy who was stuck there on the tire. They did the restart. Then Luke Johnson using that outside, got a great drive, and then more troubles. As I believe that was Galen Guy was upside down. Johnson and Lovell battling once again. You see right there, Luke Johnson, I think that was the move of the race. Blocking the door for Lovell. He had to check up, took the joker lane, but watch how they reconnect. You see around the outside, Luke Johnson carries that momentum, got that gap, and then you got to say in the second half of this race, the track came to the number 14, and he took his very first Pro 2-wheel drive win. Very emotional. Happy for him.
You got to say "round the outside" too. That was one of your signature phrases there, Grant. And
round the outside.
You saw the emotion out of it, and I know his mom, Stephanie, and hi, Stephanie. You know, and I started tearing up. I'm like, I feel this as a dad. You know, I can imagine what a mom was. But the thing with Luke is, he doesn't know if he'll compete in the whole series. It cost quite a bit of money. He actually has a sponsor lined up, to try and push him to ERX and keep things going. This is a very talented driver.
Oh, yeah.
And living in the shadow of a very talented driver. And
Big
he
shoes.
did it on his own.
Yeah.
Out of his pocket, out of his sponsors like Spider and Multicam and Red Bull and those guys. And he comes and lives during the summer up there in Crandon. I mean, doing it on his own. And you can feel the pressure week in and week out that he has to deal with on a shoestring budget, and he comes out and wins.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, he's a very talented driver. You put pressure on a talented driver or rider, and they will perform. And he literally built that truck and drove almost through the night to get here for round 1. They were literally going out on the track and trying to figure out how this thing ran. All he knew was it started because he drove it up into the trailer to bring it out here. And wow, what a, round 1 and 2, fantastic podium in round 1, comes out with a pretty convincing round 2 victory. You got to feel like, I want to see this guy compete in the whole series because right now he looks like he's going to be the man to beat. I know it's early, but he is flying.
And that dedication, he wanted to be the best Pro 2-wheel driver, just like his father was before him. The Chicagoland Slam, who's going to be our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. We're going to award it. Again, driver in the Pro 2-wheel drive, Pro 4-wheel drive class. Luke Johnson won it at the last round. Who's going to win it today will determine that. Again, Vision Wheels, the Bad Mofo Award. And yes,
he might be in the lead for that award again, just for being a bad mofo.
So you see this $250 we have here? If we multiply this by times 2, that's how much you lost last night at the casino, Hunter. I'm just messing with you.
It was a donation.
I just messed with you.
Well, I'm going back there tonight. I just let them hold it so they could feel good about themselves.
Gotcha.
I wanted to keep the lights on, but tonight it's redemption.
Gotcha. There's our Pat and Cat crew here, kitty, and they're trying to make things as smooth as possible, and that's in the U-turn there, isn't it? Is that leading up to
that's a right-hander.
The right-hander, and that right-hander had the most ruts in it. Pro 4-wheel drive's coming up next, and they will actually get to take tighter lines than we've seen in the Pro 2 because they have all 4 wheels clawing, and you get to see a little bit different line selection and something
driving style.
Something surprising, but no surprises that Pat and Catton is the best. I mean, look how serious they are with their videos. I mean, we're talking about some real business-like characters here. Listen to this.
At Patton Power Systems, we've got the power. The rental power for your business, for your event, for your peace of mind. Cat rental generators from 20 kilowatts to 2,000 kilowatts. The best power equipment Maintained by CAT certified technicians. Power. When you need it, where you need it. Patton Power Systems is your one-stop source for rental power equipment. Generators, light towers, heaters, air conditioners, and air compressors. Backed by Patton Power Systems, expert service and solutions. When you need it, where you need it. We've got the power.
And give us a call at pattoncat.com. Boy, you like that? I need to be that voiceover guy. I need to be that guy. But they do have some sweet moves, those Patton Cat machines. Yeah, look, the baby Patton Cat and the mom or dad Patton Cat.
The mom and the dad made the baby one.
That's it.
Yep.
I'm glad you set me straight here, Grant. And you see, it's a breezy day.
It's like we saw in the Pro 2, Pro 4 when the big trucks smash. That's how you get trophy cards.
Is it the small trucks? I'm trying to look on the different things here. Hashtag TORC Off-Road. Any questions?
I haven't looked.
Kimberly, our old producer, she's watching online, and she's covering a lot of the drag race stuff. And there's a lot of fans out there that have been waiting for this day to come, the kickoff to the 2017 campaign. And so far, we haven't disappointed. I'm glad to have you in the booth. Last year, I was with Ricky, and Ricky Johnson couldn't be there, but Grant Langston. All right, we have a question. Who do you think will win the Pro 4-wheel race today at the Chicago Slam? Who's your thought? Who do you think is going to do?
I mean, I hate to sound like Captain Obvious, but I think CJ Greaves is obviously the favorite. He's been fast, and I'm not sure if maybe his dad's going to get a little tired of seeing the kid kind of push him around.
It was
maybe
one race. He's not tired of seeing it. It's one race. You're saying CJ, though?
I'm saying CJ. I mean, it's hard to bet against him. I don't know. If I was going to go out on a limb, well, it's not much of a limb, but I'd go with his dad, Johnny.
Okay, so you think Johnny's going to? I think. Why would you go away from the guy that just won the championship the past couple of years, and also just won the last round? So I would have to say C.J. Greaves would probably be the favorite. One thing today, though, when he went out there in practice earlier today, he was fighting the bog whenever he made the right-hand turn in the horseshoe. And to set things up, what happened last night, he made the pass on his father, Johnny, and then he gave it up. He said his foot slipped off the pedal in that right-hander. The foot slipped off the pedal. He said, I was giving it gas, but it wasn't on the pedal. It was pushing on the floorboard, so it wasn't any gas there, and that's how Johnny got by. But he did have a little mechanical issue this morning. I talked to him as he's putting on his tear-offs, and he said it felt like, the fuel might have been sloshing to the side because he was having a problem through the whoops, and then when he made a hard right-hand turn.
That makes sense.
So they made a float-level adjustment, and hopefully it comes back out here, and it could be the difference. But I'm going to say CJ would have to be the favorite.
Well, if he didn't get that figured out, that's why I'm going with Johnny.
Yeah, then for sure. If he went the wrong way in the float-level adjustment, then he could be starving for fuel, and it could go to Johnny. So also we're going to see, how about Keegan Kincaid? It's a brand new truck. Usually the first round, guys are racing for the first time. Keegan, they were literally putting those body panels on the day before the first race, or even the morning of the first race. I think the first round was really a shakedown race for him. I think we still haven't seen what that truck can do yet.
Oh, no. I mean, Keegan Kincaid's one of the most talented drivers out there, and once he gets that truck dialed, I expect it to be at least a three-way battle with Johnny and CJ up front. So maybe they made some adjustments. He was a little bit off the front two yesterday. So if they went back and made some adjustments, I expect him to be closer.
Yeah,
and I think then maybe moving forward, in a couple of rounds from now, I think he's got the ability and the backing and the knowledge to start winning races.
And doing it on his own now. He's sponsored by Traxxas, Cooper Tires, and Amsoil. But when I see Traxxas, he had been driving for Mike Jenkins the past few years on a Traxxas and Blazing truck. I wish Mike was back in this series. I mean, you see how much fun these guys are having, and he's a fellow Texan, like I am. And so I wish Mike would come back, whether it's ERX or even farther down in Crandon. But, Pro 4-wheel drive, these are the bad boys. I mean, they're high horsepower. Some changes for 2017, and I think it really hurt the Toyotas more than anyone else because they lowered the RPM threshold, and that's something that the electronics have to take hold. So if CJ Greaves' Toyota had 10,000 RPMs, that was a sweet spot earlier. Well, now these trucks are limited to around 8,200 horsepower. We're going to step aside for a minute, and we're going to hear what 8,200 RPMs sound like when TORC, the Off-Road Championship, returns to Joliet, Illinois.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection. By Cooper Tires, we make tires for people, not just cars. And by Kenda Tires, designed for your journey.
As you see the breeze blowing into that, or away from that single right-hand turn, the Pro 4-wheel drives line up on the outside in the shadows of Chicagoland Speedway, the mile-and-a-half oval. The NASCAR and IndyCar take many laps on. This track usually it would be sprint cars or modifieds or late models or super stocks for their stock cars. Have you been in those before, Grant? They kind of look like smash 'em up derbies and very limited budget guys.
Actually, when I was younger, my father ran a racetrack, so I was fortunate. I've been able to drive go-karts, dirt bikes, street bikes, and I was very fortunate to be able to get behind the wheel at the age of 14 behind a midget.
Oh, gosh.
On a freshly groomed track, nice and slick. Oh, my goodness. Talk about hair standing up. That was incredible. I'm a racing junkie.
Well, for the racing junkies out there, let's listen to these guys pulling the front straightaway. That'll make your arm hair stand up as well.
They're just warming up.
One more race to go at TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. The Pro 4-wheel drives are lining up. High horsepower, project tires, laying it to the clay dirt here at the dirt track at Route 66. And you see the drivers lining up side by side on that back straightaway, 440 cubic inches, up to 900 horsepower. Project tires, they have the suspension, they have it all, and the best drivers in short course off-road racing. As we look at the lineup as the fireworks kick off down the back straightaway, Brad LaMarche on that AMSOIL Matcoal Tool 71, the 8 of Ken Brashow, the Maxxis King engine entry, Scott Douglas on his AMSOIL Rusty's off-road Ford, the 2 of Keegan Kincaid in that brand new truck Traxxas Cooper Tires entry, Johnny Greaves, the 22, the veteran out of Abrams, Wisconsin, CJ Greaves, the defending champion on his Monster Energy Maxxis Toyota, and Ross Hook on the Shopback ATD transmission entry as we hit the pedal to the metal, and let's fire them up in Pro 4-wheel drive.
Oh, what a great start there. Look at Johnny Greaves round the outside, just carries that momentum. Look at him. Is he going to take the lead? He does.
He drives that Toyota starting on the third row to the front, all in 2 turns.
Yeah, so now the question is, look at that. CJ did not get the start that he would have wanted. Johnny came from 5th to 1st. CJ started 6th, still sitting in 6th place.
Don't worry, there's plenty of time. And we have the competition caution at the halfway point. This is a 16-lap race. That Monster 22 out in front, 3 wide.
Took the words from me there, right there. I thought there was going to be some carnage. It's very tough to get 3 trucks over the jumps to stay in line, but somehow they all managed to come out unscathed.
And Johnny is very aggressive at the start of this race. You're seeing that already out of the 22. CJ is more methodical. You wouldn't think that for the young gun, but he is. The 33 driver, you see that Mutant Monster Energy Toyota, the second truck in the picture. He is very methodical. It's surprising being that young.
He's a very smart racer. He knows when to be aggressive and when to not push it too hard. Opening laps, if it's not coming to you, Johnny picked the right line at the right time. I think CJ was in the wrong place, wrong time. But like you said, plenty of time. He's got the pace. He knows how to work his way through the field. Another lap down. Johnny Greaves leads this one.
Keegan Kincaid back in second. That Cooper Tires entry, and you see the Patent Caterpillar on the side of his truck, the local sponsor. He looks faster than hey, that was a really good line.
Yeah,
he kept up momentum, and the attitude of that truck kept him straight.
Ooh, I like that attitude.
He was showing
He's got the
attitude.
attitude, both him and the truck. And this is a better performance from yesterday. I felt like he was a little further off. Right now, you can see pretty much almost matching CJ as far as pace goes.
Scott Douglas back in third at El Cajon, California. The Walker Evans Wheels and Shocks Amsoil number 7, trying to chase down that truck right there. Keegan Kincaid, the number 2, doing it on his own. His father built that truck, literally finished building it this week. They were putting on body panels yesterday morning, and he is flying. I think round number 1 was all a test. I think it's showtime in round 2.
Yes, I agree with that. Speaking of showtime, Johnny Greaves, he's shown people a time or two how he can get around a racetrack, and he's doing it once again.
About a 2.5 second advantage over Keegan Kincaid. Douglas in third. CJ Greaves now about 7.5 seconds back in fourth, but he has moved up into that fourth. We will have that competition caution. We also have that Joker lap to look forward to. And CJ is now closing in on Scott Douglas. Problems with Johnny Greaves at the last round with the tire coming undone. He
right through this section right here.
He said something in his interview that maybe I pushed that envelope a little bit too much. Ran too little tire pressure and it cost him. I think he might have bumped it up a little bit today.
Hey, you live and learn. You know, you don't know where the limit is until you find it. And this kind of track is a little bit different, especially what these guys tend to practice on, the bigger, flowing tracks, more hard pack. But the way the track is right now, they've thrown enough moisture. It usually by this point you start seeing dust coming up. This track has got as much moisture as we've seen all weekend. Look at it, looking pretty good. So I think it's maybe also not abusing the tires as much.
Gap between 1 and 2, but tightening up in 3 and 4.
Yep.
You see Keegan Kincaid, a big gap with him, but the race is really for third place. Keegan Kincaid in second place. Kate Osborne, you have more?
Yeah, well, some of us may think that Keegan should know Pro 4. He's been in the truck before in the last year or so with Mike Jenkins. Well, I asked him, how's the learning curve been? He said, well, actually, it's been kind of difficult. He said it's been a process because with Mike Jenkins' truck that he was driving last year, it was actually an automatic. This one's a manual. He says he's learning and adapting as he's driving it out here today. But he does know that when he gets home, they're going to make some big changes. And he was really pumped about his podium, his third place podium in round 1.
Something must have happened to Douglas there. He was at a standstill coming out of the turn, and we see CJ putting himself into that third position.
Makes me wonder if he got on 2 wheels, maybe a bicycle or something, because CJ was battling with him, and then again he comes out in front there. So CJ Greaves now up into third. I don't see any way he's
here we go.
catch up.
Here's a replay.
All right.
See what happens. So Douglas has the line.
It kicked up the rear end. You can't stop. You can't stop. Now he's in a different position than he wanted to be.
Oh, he just stalled it.
Yep, she shut down. Refire. We'll see if we see any fire or smoke. There we go. We've got fire again. Yep.
That was
shut
strange.
Off.
That was very strange because it wasn't even like he was bicycling and hit the brakes and maybe stalled the motor, but we'll have to find out afterwards. But
it was a hard kick, but yeah, something shut off for Scott Douglas. Not sure what happened. Maybe Kate will find out. So CJ moves up into third now. 4.7 seconds separates first and second. Johnny Greaves on his Monster Energy, number 22. Method Racing wheels, you see that black and green colors, but he's going to give up this big gap between first and second at that competition caution. We know it. It has to happen. It's a mandatory part of TORC, the Off-Road Championship.
Hey, he didn't sign up for that one, but you got to play by the rules. But the big deuce, Papa Bear, just reminding CJ, hey, I've taught you a thing of 2, and I actually still know a thing or 2 that you may not.
I've been kicking tail longer than you've been born, son, but he's out in front, but still, Keegan Kincaid is CJ Greaves is off the track. He's in third, but he's limping around. And when you don't see something physically wrong, you would have to think something with the motor might have let go. This could be a big turning point in the championship as well. It's only the second race, but still, you don't want a DNF.
Oh,
Johnny's in the pits. It looks like he had a right front. Something happened with him, but are we at our competition caution? I'm seeing 8 laps complete, so we're at that comp caution. He pulls in now, and let's go to about CJ Greaves. What do you have, Kate?
Just talking to his spotter there, he actually has a right front flat. He's pulled into the hot pit, and they're looking to turn around and get back on track.
So CJ Greaves is the one that's off. When we're seeing the slowness out of Johnny Greaves, that's because he had taken that competition caution. CJ picks back up because now's the time to do it. He'll pick back up at the end of the field. Still has 8 laps to prove he has what it takes to win this race.
Well, pretty fortunate for CJ Greaves that when it went bad, it could not have happened at a better time. He's able to stay on the lead lap, which is crucial because look, he'll bunch up to the back of the field. And as you can tell, with the attrition rate going, we've lost a few trucks in this race. I think he'll line up maybe 6th or 7th. There you see CJ coming around to rejoin the tail end of the field. But the good thing for him, basically, he can see the leaders right in front of him. So besides a few trucks between him and the leader, this is about as close as you could be for being in 7th place. Getting ready to go back to green. Toyota Escondido pace truck.
So as you see that Toyota Escondido pace truck, Johnny Greaves leads the Pro 4-wheel drives as they pick up for the second half of this race. Where is his son CJ? With that flat tire, he moves to the back of the field. Does he have enough time to work his way up to the front? Right now he's behind Ross Hook in 6th place. Johnny leads the field and he's going to try and check out, but still, don't count out Keegan Kincaid in 2nd.
Well, after they re-racked him and stacked him, they are as close as they could be. So this is going to come down to the pace. Look at that smart move by Johnny. He gets that joker lane out of the way. When you've got clear track, you have to do it. It looked like, was that Ross Hook who joined him as well? We'll see when they cross the line. You'll see the position shuffling a little bit.
But Johnny right now needs to have a hammered down lap. It cost him that differential between the choker lap and not taking the choker lap. It cost him the previous round. That was CJ's best lap. Now CJ trying to work his way up. Where will he funnel through? I believe he was in 6th place when we started the second half of this race. We'll see after it all sorts out where he finishes.
Well, obviously he has not taken that joker lane yet. Obviously Johnny Greaves, the leader, has taken it. Ross Hook sitting in 2nd. Not that far behind the leader. Oh, look at that. Was that CJ?
And I talked to CJ before this race.
No, Kincaid.
I talked to CJ before this race, and you thought he would take it the next lap after Johnny, but if you're farther back in the field, you can wait later. If you have clean track in front of you, you can wait later. That is, unless we have another full course caution, and you get caught out not taking that, then now you're in trouble. But CJ can hold on to taking that lap later on in the race, and he's going to go from far back to way out in front in the blink of an eye.
Whoa, how about Kincaid starting to bring the heat late in this race, round 2. He definitely seemed to be a little off yesterday. We heard Kate say they're going to go back and make massive changes, and whoa, look at that. CJ Greaves rails around the outside, takes the joker lane. He's up to 3rd place, so not that far off the leaders.
And that's what I had talked with him about. You can wait a little bit farther. He goes from 6th to 3rd. He had clean air for a couple of laps, and now's the time to make hay. And also when he rejoins, he's going to have Keegan just in front of him too. And that wasn't the case 2 laps prior.
And Keegan has Johnny right in front of him. So these three just separated enough where they can run their own racing lines. But one little mistake from any of them, things will change.
Max's Toyota 33, the defending champion, CJ Greaves, in 2016, 6 victories in Pro 4-wheel drive. He already has 1 in 2017.
Looks like just off the camera side there, I think CJ jumped off the side of the, Johnny jumped off the side of the track, saw a little puff of dust, and then squared up that corner and went up the inside and more dust.
And Johnny Greaves out in front. He was 2nd in Pro 4 to his son, as it looks like we have a battle for 2nd place, but 4 wins out of Johnny Greaves last season. If Keegan could hold off CJ Greaves, this would be huge, but I don't know, especially getting on that bike. That's kind of setting things up for CJ. He's going to try and plan on him doing that again if he sees him take that line.
I kind of feel like with Keegan, when the track was wet and slick, he could get that thing pitched sideways and get a nice controlled slide. Now that it's drying up, look, he's searching for lines, and on those really tacky turns, he's almost like he's got too much side bite, which means the vehicle's starting to bicycle, like watch, this turn and the next one, these two hairpins, he's struggling a little bit.
CJ couldn't get it turned that time. You saw him stop, stop, adjust. You wanted to make that one continuous motion and take that inside line, but still not too far behind as Johnny Greaves is just pulling away. This is a great race of two guys that have been racing each other throughout the years, moving up through the ranks, whether it be lights or two-wheel drive, now into four-wheel drive, and you see the differential, but you can see the differential. You don't need numbers.
Yes, we can see it. Can't see the actual differential, but I can see the difference between these two. Different driving styles.
A different line by Keegan. That time he took the low line. I think his spotter says, hey, you open it up that much. CJ's going to take it.
Don't leave the door open. You got CJ very close, but I think he's also trying to search and change his line selection because we saw the truck struggling. Oh, Lapper's going to come into effect here. What's he going to do?
They're both going to have to figure out what he was going to do. Was he going to go wide, so I got to go underneath? That's having to look way ahead of you before you get into that driver.
As we call it, anticipating.
Yeah. CJ pivots very good, and it looks like another good turn by Keegan Kincaid. We're on our last lap. White flag is out, one more to go. This would be a tremendous victory for Keegan Kincaid, not to win the race, but to finish second and only his second run out.
That would be a great drive. This has just been great to watch. So interesting. Now CJ, as close as he's ever been. 2 more turns. He's got 2 chances. Does he try and run it up the inside here, or is he going to save it for that final sweeper?
Pro 4s usually take the inside anyway. Both drivers in that run. A good run by Keegan Kincaid. The 22, though, he's going to be making that left-hand turn. Johnny Greaves is going to take the Yamaha checkered flag first. Coming across in second is going to be Keegan Kincaid, followed by the monster Toyota of CJ Greaves in third. The old man did it again once again. I say that because he's 51 years old. His son's 21, but he showed the young guns how to get it done here in Joliet. Johnny Greaves, your winner in Pro 4.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. The tires on the car help keep you safe. Grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection. By Aturo, the tire with the style you want and the performance you need. And by Vision. From high-speed desert racing in Baja to short course carnage, Vision has arrived.
Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois. The Pro 4s are complete here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. Johnny Greaves and that Monster Energy Toyota started on the third row, and by the second turn, he had taken the lead, and he never looked back. That is one happy man right there, and Kate Osborne's with him.
Johnny Greaves, you are one of those guys who have helped out so many people in this paddock. You're spotting for UTVs. You're helping people day in and day out. For you, how sweet is it to end up back on the box again?
Oh, man. I mean, ever since we started testing, like CJ said, we've spent so much time this winter goofing around with them UTVs. And, they're stick shift. They're four-wheel drive. They act just like these things. They're just in a smaller scale. And I told them when we started racing, we're practicing this year, I said, you know what? I learned something from them things. I think I'm a better driver. I'm smoother. I'm more in control, and hey, we showed it today. So I got to thank my guys, and, they put a lot of hard work into this new truck. It's a collaboration with Racer Engineering, and it's working awesome, and everything about it. So Monster, Toyota, Maxxis, Fox, Rugged Radios, Method Wheels, Forest County Potawatomi, all you guys. This one's for you. And my mom on Mother's Day, and my wife, and all those guys, and every woman here on Mother's Day. This one's for you girls.
What was neat is, guys, how he was talking about the fact that he feels like he's smoother, right? These are those things we've talked about over the time with CJ being more patient, but Johnny never showing that. And it's cool to see that he thinks it's coming out for him.
What a run by Johnny Greaves. And yeah, all that time spent in the UTV has paid off, and he takes the win. Kincaid and his son CJ in third. But when you look at this, that also means that Johnny, with a second in the first round and then a first in the second round, he's going to be the championship points leader. But a consistent run 2 times in a row for Keaton Kincaid in a brand new truck. I mean, literally brand new. First time was yesterday. That thing fired up and took laps on a racetrack, and Kate Osborne has caught up with him.
And we talked about how this is a victory in and of itself, these podiums for you, Keegan. You also told me that you were looking to be more and more comfortable in this Pro 4. What have you learned from rounds 1 and rounds 2?
Oh, you know, I know that my team works hard, and it's paid off. And we literally, just like I said yesterday, just started driving this thing this weekend, and we're learning so much each lap. And this track is brutal. It's one of the toughest that we've had in a long time, and it was a handful to hold on to. And props to John. You know, we let him get away, and CJ was behind me, pushing me, and you know, for a second and a third to get out of this first weekend. And we're going to put our heads down. We got a lot of work to do on this truck yet. But I can't thank Cooper Tires enough. These things, you know, hooked up. They did their research, and for how brutal this track was, they were right there. You know, I can't thank Pat and Kat for coming on board and giving us an amazing facility and a track. They stayed up on the prep all weekend long, and you know, everybody that's just been behind me, Fox Shocks, you know, we're getting these things dialed in, and we'll be even stronger at ERX, and hopefully compete with this guy next week.
All right, Keegan Kincaid, second place here in Pro 4.
Hard work pays off, and Keegan Kincaid proves that. As you see, he's in the top 3 behind the 2 Greaves. Johnny Greaves consistently wins championship. Nobody's more consistent at this round and last round than him. 48 points out of a possible 50, so a solid run. You see Kent Brasho, Douglas, another race that he wished he could forget, but solid running by the Greaves boys. This time it was father over son. Go down to Kate Osborne with CJ Greaves.
Well, third place for you, CJ. Not necessarily where you want to be, but you were just having a conversation back here by the rear of the truck. What were you saying to your dad?
You know, we put a whole new front end on it and went to a different style front diff, and we need to go reassess what we did and figure out if it was the right call. But my driving style doesn't always suit what everyone else likes to run. So we got a flat out there, so we had to come in and pit, but we were managed to come out in third at the end of the day. So last year we started with a 5th and a DNF. So we definitely, with a first and a third, we're at a better start than we did last year. But we're going to go back, figure out what this truck needs, and be able to come back afterwards swinging. So couldn't do it without all the guys at Toyota Engines, Maxxis Tires, Mutant Soda, Monster Energy, Forest County Potawatomi, Method Race Wheels, Fox Shocks, all my crew and family that comes out here. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, and we'll get it next time.
A good weekend for the Greaves Motorsport Group.
And you see him, and it is hard for him to accept a third because he likes to win. But, I mean, it was the first race. And you talk about how poorly he did at last year's, start of the season. So he has to be happy. I mean, he won nearly everything he raced this week, and he finished as 1/3, 2 UTV wins and 1 4-wheel drive.
Can you just say I was right?
You were right. You're right. We talked about before who we thought would win. And
Johnny drove great, and I think what really did it for him was that start. The way he went round the outside of everybody. You put yourself in a position, he went from 5th to 1st, so, which is also crazy because in 5th he should have been inside 3rd row. So the fact that he was even able to get in front of his son to get to the outside and slingshot around everyone, that was the move of the race for me. And it really put him in a great position. And CJ was literally just trying to play catch-up from there on out.
Yeah, cause. Let's take a look at it one more time. Pro 4-wheel drive, some highlights and how it all went down with Johnny Greaves taking the victory, his first for 2017. We started off with Brad LaMarche and Kent Brasho on that front row. But watch a couple of drivers, in particular that black Monster Energy, number 22. You say round the outside, and that was round the outside.
Oh, yeah. He was flying in the beginning. He had some heat coming from behind there. Scott Douglas, not sure what happened there, but that was a little gift for CJ. Then after the restart, you see Johnny does what we've said before. If you're the leader, you got to take the Joker lane immediately.
not, it could cost you big time. You see on 2 wheels. And that could have cost Keegan, but he didn't do it again, not quite to that extreme, and CJ wasn't able to take advantage. But you see how close they were? That was what, the last 3-4 laps?
Yeah, really good, great, tight racing. Keegan didn't make that mistake to sort of give it to CJ. And you've said these two have battled their entire careers pretty much. They've moved up through the ranks almost at the same time. Now it's great just to see them at the elite level, Pro 4, and they're still going at it.
And look at that, about a truck and a half length separated those drivers at the end, or actually Johnny coming across to take that Yamaha checkered flag. And the UTV practice really helped him. Rodney Van Eperen, even Owen Van Eperen in the little trophy trucks, the little kid, riding with CJ shotgun. I really think that the UTVs are the developmental vehicle for short course off-road racing. I really do.
Yeah, I've said it before. I think it really is the purest form of almost racing. You know, get the guys in simple vehicles.
In a harness.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, get behind it. A lot of it comes down to driver and then him relaying the message to set the vehicle up. How does he want it grooved? How does he want the suspension? Where do you want the power delivery? And then how do you drive it once you get out on the track? We've seen it go from slick wet to dry in the end. So you have to learn to slide it when it's wet as well as in the dry with all the potholes and ruts. So you heard Johnny say he thinks it's actually helped him make a better driver. I think anytime you can drive or ride multiple different types of vehicles or race cars, it helps you just really get a feeling and what you want out of anything.
Yeah, your craftsmanship in this stuff.
And they look good.
He didn't have the suspension, doesn't have the horsepower. You're constantly learning. Johnny,
you feel everything pretty much.
And Johnny learned from the previous round. Don't go that low in the tire pressure when you have these type of jumps in a situation, and he learned something. And that truck was hooked up. He was, without question, the fastest. And also, we're going to have to determine who our winner is for our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award here in just a moment. But we're also going to take a look at the next stop, rounds 3 and 4. Where are they? They're in Minnesota, and Jeremy Meyer talks about it a little bit more.
It's mid-May. We're in Elk River, Minnesota at ERX Motor Park. Now, a year ago, nobody believed that we could make a world-class off-road racing facility. Well, 1 year later, here we are with 2 events coming up in 2017. When we built this track, we wanted to embody the true essence of off-road racing. We wanted a track that would change lap to lap for the driver so that they would be challenged from start to finish. The key area that challenges these drivers starts with a 180-degree clay turn. At that point, the drivers need to make a decision on a split lane sand section. Once they come out of that section, they come into a treacherous whoop section that leads right into a Talladega turn. In 2017, we wanted to ensure that the fan experience at ERX was second to none. We have improved seating, including 2 new bleacher sections, as well as a section of seating that we are affectionately dubbing People of the Trees. ERX Motor Park now sits on more than 400 acres. This allows us to accentuate the fan experience, including more than 150 new camping spots that are available for both TORC weekends. ERX is the best value you will find for your family all summer long. For more information on camping and tickets, go to erxmotorpark.com, and we'll see you June 10th and 11th.
All right, hang on. I'm going to go to TORCseries.com right now, find out how I can get my tickets for that. Oh, never mind. I've got a credential, but you fans, I promise you, if you haven't been to Crandon, you need to go. I mean, it's the best of the best for a short course off-road racing. A lot of people have, a lot of people do. Camp out. You haven't been to Bark River, you need to go. It's a great time. It's fun in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. If you haven't been to ERX Motor Park, which is 2 stops on tour, you need to go because it is the most fun new track without question that we've seen. A little bit of old, a lot of new, split lane. So and now with them talking about adding the camping, I think it's going to add that Bark River, Cramden kind of feel. You've been a part of the Land of the Lost. You know what it's like out there. It gets fun when you relax, have a few beverages, camp out, and watch the best racers, not only sportsmen, but the pros in the world. Top pros.
Yeah, I mean, watching these events live, honestly, is way cooler than even just watching it at all. These trucks scream. You get the race fuel. Every now and then we get a whiff of it in our booth.
Is that what you're calling it nowadays, this race fuel?
Yeah. I called them adult beverages. You call them race fuel. I mean, we have a different name, but I don't care if it's Gatorade out there. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's an experience. It's about having a good time.
And Crandon's something just special. Like when I went there, you feel it when you come in. And even though they call it short course racing, when you go to Crandon, they are flying. I mean, they got that land rush start. It is huge. It is massive. And they come into that first turn. And it's actually scary. You don't want to. The first time I stood by the fence, I was like, man, these guys have issues.
Yeah. And
pretty much.
And this man who I know has issues are saying that those guys have issues. All right, it looks like
you see some massive crashes there,
Yeah,
too.
it
You know,
looks like-
people love that. We always want the guys to get out of the car, but crashing there, it's huge.
They're huge. And there's Keegan's little man in our top 3 in the Pro 4-Wheel Drive receiving their trophies, and introductions by Scott Rain and Brent Smith up there on the main stage. Miss TORC, Tiffany Stone probably hand them those trophies. The champagne presentation about to come out. And there's Tiffany Stone. Miss TORC. Just get Corey out of the picture. We'll be all good. And
don't give it to the kid.
yeah, exactly. When that happens, they do give them that sparkling apple cider. And look at Keegan and goes, "Where's mine?" All of those guys are going, "Where's mine?" I think that we had some.
Keegan's son's like, "Oh, my bad."
Oh yeah,
did I just ruin it?
No, he gets the sparkling cider. We've seen that before many times. But I know I mentioned it again about Mike Jenkins and my fellow Texan. Mike, if you're watching, I'd really like to see you come out here and throw one of those trucks at Mark Jenkins, for that matter, because we know they're out there living somewhere, because Keegan's got new equipment. He's teaching him how to spray it, though. There you go. It's all about development here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship. You know, you're retired, Grant, but I know you would like nothing more than having your son Devin go out there and,
he would love nothing more than that.
He
would just be like, yeah, give me that, yeah.
Yeah, he would.
Once I get out of this booth, I'm going to get myself a sparkling apple cider as well.
You should do that. And congratulations to all of our drivers here. We still have one more award to give. I can't get this cord out of my way. We have one more award to give, and that's our Vision Wheels award for the Bad Mofo. Who's going to win that $250 cash money, player? Cash.
Who do you think? I mean, there wasn't like that really one moment where you're like, that guy has to get it. I felt like it could either go to Johnny, in my opinion, for that first lap move.
5-1.
Yeah, from 5th to 1st. I think that was, whether it was called move of the race, or I think that deserved the Bad Mofo award because he drove like a bad mofo. And then the other option, I think, would be Luke Johnson.
Back to back, yeah.
Just coming out, crushing it. You saw the emotion, just built that truck, everything he's been through. And
Johnny started. Johnny started in 5th and went to 1st in one turn. Luke Johnson started 4th and won the race as well. So both of those guys didn't start on that front row. So
no, they earned it.
Yeah,
no one gave it to them. They earned it.
Kyle Kleiman, he was fast as well, but he won from the pole. I mean, but he was fast. I mean, nobody really challenged him all night. That's as far as the winners. But it doesn't have to be the win, but it could just be a special moment. And our producer Tim saying, just start talking about the Bad Mofo. You think it's going to be? One. Give me one. Come on. You already got it.
Johnny.
And you thought that he would win the Pro 4. You're right. I think it could be Luke Johnson. That's who I think. We're going to send it down to Bill Dixon with our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. Will it be his pick, Johnny? Will it be my thoughts in Luke Johnson? Take it away.
You didn't turn it on? So I look like a big dummy.
No. Now you said it. You called it out. Take her away.
Hey, what's going on, TORC race fans? I'm Bill Dixon, pro freestyle stunt rider, and I'm here today to give out the Bad Mofo Award. And this award is presented by Vision Wheels. And today I was the one to pick the winner, and I watched the Pro 2s and the Pro 4s go. And it was a really close match between Johnson and CJ Greaves, but I'm giving it to CJ Greaves today because he came out, he had a flat the whole first part of the race, and he came out and he finished 3rd, really killed his Joker lap and done a really great job. CJ? Hey man, you done a really good job today, man. How'd you feel out there?
Appreciate it. Yeah, we got a flat like you said early on, and we had to work our way back up, but that's part of racing, and we're going to keep our head down and keep moving forward and get some more wins out there.
I heard that, man. Well, congratulations, and you are a bad mofo, brother.
All right, so Greaves does win it, but you or I didn't pick it and said Johnson or Greaves. We were thinking it was Johnny, but that was good. He did come back from third, and it doesn't have to necessarily be the winner. But, yeah, having that flat tire and still running it that hard.
Yeah, I mean, the flat tire, obviously that's bad luck, but when it happened, it couldn't have happened at a better time. Yeah, so he didn't lose much. I get why they give him that award, especially if you're out there watching everything happen live. So
and again,
wrong.
somebody had to decide that thing, but I really thought it was going to be Johnny when he went to say that. Fifth to first in literally one sweeper turn. That was a bad mofo pass.
Or as they would say in NASCAR, that was the move of the race.
Yep, and I'd like to thank everybody watching TORC on TORCseries.com. Grant Langston, I'm Robbie Floyd. If you've been watching throughout the day, all of our sportsman coverage by Scott Rain, Brent Smith, Tiffany Stone, Kate Osborne doing our trackside duties. We are done here in the great state of Illinois. Next time we are going to outside of Minneapolis, ERX Motorport. Minnesota. Round 3 and 4 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship. I'm Robbie Floyd. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time at TORCseries.com.